Sir, you're charged with especially aggravated kidnapping. You're also charged with aggravated assault, and you're charged with theft of a firearm worth less than $2,500.
You're talking about stuff that is not relevant.
Hello and welcome to the Court of Public Opinion. I am the Recovery Addict, and boy do I have a case for you today.
Why is the dog chewing on this guy?
I think they have got the wrong guy there.
Got the wrong guy, and the dog was biting him.
He roughened him up quite a bit. There's a lawsuit.
Is the next search on February 28, 2020? 7:44 p.m. How period does the FBI find people? The people misspelled P-E-O-P-O-N. Did the defendant find out how the FBI finds people in this case? Oh, she found out.
Weird. Got weird sounds in my head, guys. Oh well. All right, welcome to the Court of Public Opinion. I am the Recovery Addict. Thank you for being here this afternoon. Hope you had a fantastic lunch, because you deserve it. Good to do. We're going to give the cash cow a little squeeze here for good luck. There we go. All right. As we get back underway, a big shout out to Kurt from Uncivil Law. Appreciate him taking care of y'all while I was gone. Welcome back. Thank you very much, Kurt. Appreciate it. Good friend. Great lawyer. Great legal mind. I always like to hear what he thinks. Sometimes I don't agree. And Kurt would say those are the times that I'm wrong. but it's always wonderful to get another opinion and help me formulate my own. With that said, we are going to get underway. I'm hearing a little bird tweeting in my ear saying something about a new document just barely dropped. Is that for us, or is that something else? Hang on one second. Let's just take a quick look down here in Sarasota and see if something happened over lunchtime. Not seeing it yet. That might not be this case. Might be a different one. All right, we have a couple things to do before we go too far. First of all, thank you, sample user. Oh wait, no, my mistake. This live stream is the best, but sample user not today. Regina Crawford. It's been a great 5 months. Thank you, Regina. Thank you. Also, we have a Ashley J. Ashley J was the first person in chat today, and she typed a J. That's why we have Ashley J. Ashley, congratulations. You have won chat by being first in the chat, and because of that, you are the proud owner of the internet and everything on it and connected to it. So it's your responsibility to keep us connected and communicating. And if you can do that in addition to all your other duties you have today, we would muchly appreciate it. So thank you. Thank you very much. Let's see. Juror number one's lawyer is filing notice they exist. Let's check out that notice really quick. That should be a quick one. Notice of filing. Supplemental. I'm not even seeing it. Is it listed under a different case? Because I'm seeing the supplemental exhibits, the reconsideration of scope. So juror number one has a lawyer. This is great news. Great news. So it looks like Kurt covered that as well. I'm sorry I missed that part, Kurt. I was busy cooking. Probably hasn't been posted yet, maybe a little later. It usually takes an hour or two to make it on the list. That's all right. I was busy cooking, Kurt. You talked about making food on stream, and I got hungry, and it was lunchtime, so I snuck away from the live stream and kept the audio going. But I darted into the kitchen and found I had some pie crust that was still left over that I needed to make some pies out of, so I quickly just whipped up a couple chicken pot pies. Did the little peas, carrots, some chicken, a little bit of cream of in there. Did a nice little design with a fork on the top and cooked those up. No, really, I just pulled them out of the freezer. I didn't make anything. I just nuked some frozen food. But I did have chicken pot pie, and it was delicious. I wish I could say I was able to just whip up some chicken pot pies on lunch. But they were very good. Unfortunately, that there's a movie. There's like a Dungeons and Dragons movie that my kids have me watching. It's just hilarious. It's a comedy, and in it there's a scene where there's the bad guy is like he's drinking tea. And it's like this tea is completely too hot. It's absolutely scalding. And he's like, there's no need to make the tea that hot. Anyway, in that scene, my chicken pot pie was that hot, and I put it in my mouth, and now I cannot feel my tongue. I ate it, and it was too hot. It was absolutely scalding. Anyway, so So don't eat really, really hot chicken pot pies. That's the lesson of the day. All right. You believe me? I have made food. There are times that I can make some yummy food. I tell you, I can make the best hamburger stroganoff you've ever had, and it's that's good stuff. And the secret is in the seasoning of the meat. But anyway, well, and paprika. You have to use paprika. I'm looking. Nothing dropped. Yeah, it might have been another case, or it's possible they filed something and we're just waiting for it to show up, which is cool. Either way, I have something else. Nurse for God, 8 months. Woohoo! It's great to have you here, Nurse for God. Wonderful. Hope your day is going just great. Seen some great tweets that I think were attributed to you. so appreciate what your contribution to the whole greater world of true crime. Let's see, what else was there? Cooking series with RA. Oh, that's bad. Stroganoff's pretty good. I tell you, a couple things make stroganoff, and one of them, you just need egg noodles. If you try to make it with spaghetti or with elbow noodles or any lasagna noodles, anything else, it's a no-go. You need the egg noodles. And I've got some secrets on the noodles as well. But okay, where are we? Who got that Orange Courthouse? Look at that, Cachette. Ohio Gin got it. Ohio Gin, where's Ohio Gin? Orange Courthouse, right there. Boom! It all started with Daryl Brooks. Grounds. I have my objection overruled grounds coffee cup today, full of water, which I did not spill on my computer.
I'm not a camel.
The Shugi Show Live. I have not seen that document either. I've heard he does have a lawyer, which is great. Lawyer up. It's a great thing to do, because the worst thing that can happen is you get some bad advice, but that's probably not going to happen. You're probably going to get good advice.
Are we going to address subject matter jurisdiction?
Did you get anything good for Christmas? I mostly gave for Christmas. I already have everything I need, which made it a little harder for people who were trying to buy for me. But I did get a couple things that were very thoughtful and very kind, and yes, it was very much appreciated. I got a butterfly knife comb, which I now have misplaced. Might be in my pocket. Yes, right here. So I have this nifty little comb that I can whip out at a moment's notice and straighten any stray hair during the live stream, and then flip it back into my pocket without smashing my fingers like I just did. Oh, wow, that hurts. So I got some fun little gifts. All right. No, they cannot sue, unfortunately. I don't think juror number one has any grounds to sue. That's the way the law is written, although I wish it could. Tommy Jones says, not always chatting, but always watching. Greatest 7 months and the best place to be. Thank you, Scott, for all you do. Love this community. Thank you, Tommy Jones. Appreciate that. Also, we have Lena H. Happy New Year to everyone. Glad to be back in my happy place. Katrina Hetherington, 3 hearts from you. Thank you very much, Katrina, for your 5 months of support. And Tumwater Troy, Happy New Year, y'all. I love the y'all. You got an extra A in there. It's y'all. You just need y'all. It's one word. I'd even drop the apostrophe, y'all. That's just how we say it here in North Carolina. All right. That being said, we have some great news about the court case. I'm actually looking to see if I need to FedEx my live view down to Florida really quickly to see if we can get it plugged in. We'll see what we need to do there. Let's see. I'm constantly refreshing for any new docs. Thank you, Amber. I can always count on you. One of a great document hounds and a fantastic moderator as well. KQD says, you had me believing you. I'd have bet 24 of the same chicken pot pies. Have the same in the freezer. Yes. Sam's Club is a great place to shop, KQD. That's where I got mine. Chicken pot pies have 2 modes, the fires of hell or hell frozen over. Okay, so I microwaved mine. Yesterday, I cooked one in the oven, and it bakes for 50 minutes. And nobody can wait for 50 minutes for food, especially on a lunch break. And so I microwaved mine. And it says to cook it for 50 minutes and then wait cook it for 5 minutes, then wait for another 5 minutes. Well, it continues to cook outside of the oven. I guess it has raw chicken inside, so I followed the advice. But only after I first tasted it, just to see if it was done. That's when I scalded my tongue. JT, welcome to the gallery. Thank you, my friend, for becoming a member. welcome. We're going to have a little bit of fun today. I wanted to actually, before we begin doing all this fun stuff, I need to make some room on my desk. Cash cow, you can stay. This remote can go. This remote can go. Wait, I actually need that first one. Pickle can go over here. We're going to move the screaming goat. Okay.
Have them send someone with more
now we have a little bit of room. Okay, on my desk here, which you guys can't see, but you might be able to now, I have the ingredients to teach you a legal principle that a lot of people struggle with and wanted to know more about. And I've had questions over time over this. We haven't had many today, but I was thinking about it before, and it came up, and I thought, I can teach this to you. I can use an example to teach you in a way that you will never forget. And it involves food, and that at the confluence of crime and food is where you'll find me. And that's where I found Mom of 2+2. Yay, 2 months. I'm so thankful to have found you. You're the only paid subscription that I have. I'm so happy to throw money at you. Mom of 2+2. Thank you very much. Appreciate your support. Wonderful to have you here as well. Rebecca Zooks. Is it Sooks? Welcome to the gallery, Rebecca. Thank you very much. Thanks for becoming a new member. Happy New Year to you. You've come to the right place. You can never leave, though.
Anne Cloutier just sent a super sticker with 3.
Thank you, Anne. And Claudia. Thank you for your super sticker. Appreciate that. Okay, so here's what we want to do. I want to teach you a principle because it involves me eating and you learning, and it's all for the sake of education here. And so I'm going to show you just briefly that I have in my hand a handful of foods, various health foods that you can purchase at most convenience stores. Right here. So what we are going to do is I'm going to teach you a little thing.
I'm not a camel.
So to teach you first, I have to say we're going to start with this, which is a Snickers bar. I'm sorry I have to do this in front of you guys, but this is, at least it's healthy. Happy New Year. I hope you're keeping your resolutions as well. But Snickers bar, as you can see, is right here. We're going to get that ready. Let's get the nice zoom. It's not sponsored, by the way, not sponsored. So we're gonna keep our Snickers bar right there. I also have this is a Milky Way. It's green in the middle. It's not courtroom colored in the middle, which is sort of funny. But anyway, the green doesn't show up. So we're gonna open this as well because let me just show you because this is also an essential food group. So there we have our Milky Way. I have now. I'm gonna have a sugar coma. I'm anticipating a Three Musketeers. Ooh, look at that. Also not smushed. I'm more impressed that they're not melted. Hang on one second. I need a plate. And then this was a bit of a struggle, but I also brought a Hershey's, just regular Hershey's. Okay, so
I'm not a camel.
We have that, and there's our Hershey's. Now, imagine the Hershey's is shaped the same as these ones are. Okay, they're very similar on the outside. Did I ask for diabetes for Christmas? No, but if I were to take a bite out of this Snickers bar, which I will do now, only for educational purposes. Oh, that is good. We can see inside the Snickers bar. Focus. Use the force. Boom. Okay. We have chocolatey goodness on the outside, which is really good. We have peanuts on top, caramel, and then nougat underneath. Just the mixture of these is fantastic. I'm not a candy person. I'm only doing this for you guys. This is actually a sacrifice on my part. So there we have a Three Musketeers. Imagine this is a major crime. Okay, it can't be that hard to imagine because probably all of us made, New Year's resolutions involving not doing this.
There's a lawsuit.
So there's a major crime. Now we go to the now we go to the Milky Way. We'll take a bite of that one.
I'm not a cat.
Oh, that was also really good. Inside here, we've got our chocolate on the outside, a layer of caramel, nougat on the bottom. Lastly, these are all going to melt because my studio is so hot. Three Musketeers.
Don't miss the forest for the trees.
Also good. We've got a layer of chocolate and nougat in the middle. And then we have a regular chocolate, which I'm not going to take a bite of because it doesn't work very well for the image. But I now show you my half-eaten candy bars, I'm going to teach you the principle of lesser included when it comes to law.
When are we going to break for lunch, Judge?
A lesser included is when we have multiple different
Have them send
offenses
someone with more experience.
that are very similar, but not quite exactly the same. Hang on, into ASMR chewing time. So here we have four ingredients to this crime, right? This crime of a Snickers bar, we have chocolate, we have peanuts, we have caramel, and we have nougat. You cannot have a Snickers bar without those four ingredients, or the four parts of the car. You have to have those four ingredients to charge the crime. If you try to charge somebody with Snickers, the crime of Snickers, and you don't have the peanuts, guess what? You're only going to get to convict them for Milky Way, because a Milky Way is a Snickers without the peanuts. And if you have charged them with the Milky Way and you don't have the caramel, you're only going to get to convict them for Three Musketeers because you don't have the caramel. And a Three Musketeers is the Milky Way without the caramel. And if you don't have the nougat and you charge somebody with Three Musketeers, you're only going to be able to convict them for Hershey's, just straight chocolate. So now you know how this works. So if you do not have the necessary ingredients to reach that offense, you can't do it. So now also, I don't need to charge somebody, okay? If I'm charging someone with Snickers, I don't need to always also charge them with Milky Way and Three Musketeers.
When are we gonna break for lunch?
Those are included. They are lesser and included. So you don't have separate charges on all of them. And it's generally believed, and it's held true, that if you are charged with Snickers and you're found not guilty, you cannot then be recharged with Milky Way or Three Musketeers because those were included in the original charge, and double jeopardy doesn't apply. I want to eat all these. I'm already having my heart's racing. I don't eat sugar ever, and this sugar rush is killing me. I've got chocolate all over my keyboard. Oh my goodness. Like my heart rate is going like 110. Okay. So, any questions on lesser included? I just need a plate for all my candy.
Alex stole it as well.
Sending insulin. I saw that the other day, and I thought, I explained it to my wife, and I said, I think it would be easy to explain lesser included when if we could use chocolate, because it makes sense. Oftentimes, you'll see, say first, if somebody's going for a death penalty case, which we'll call the Snickers bar because it's everything. The jury is going to be instructed to the lesser degree crimes they can find. I'm not a camel. Thank you. I just need to not get the chocolate all over everything. Is there a chance you could kick that fan on here? It's like 90 degrees and this chocolate's going to melt. What if you threw Reese's into the mix? You can unplug one of those chargers. Thanks. Okay, that was all I had for you. Hey, there's my son. He's turning the fan on for me. Thank you. Can you pull it right over there by this and turn it towards me? Perfect. All right, now we're alive, and barely. My heart's going so fast. All right, what about Mounds and Almond Joy? It doesn't. Well, Yeah, I guess that would work. And usually, when it comes to lesser included, usually there's like only 1 or 2 layers below. And you can there's some charts for different states that you can say that, like a lesser included of driving while intoxicated might be reckless driving, right? A lesser included of murder might be manslaughter. A lesser included of, let's find another one. A scheme to defraud might be petty larceny. Robbery might be down. Larceny is lesser included. Burglary might just be a criminal trespass. Each one can step down a little bit, but it's not so simple, right? It's not just like a blanket. This is how it works across the world or across the nation, even, because every state, at least in the nation here, every state has different rules about it. In some cases, they don't. The rules to apply lesser includeds are very different. So you can't just assume that I can always get convicted on a lesser charge. Sometimes it's all or nothing. I don't think I can repeat it. I mean, I've got the food, but I'm
not a cat.
I'm not a cat. I'm not a candy person. Really, I don't stress this enough. I don't eat candy very much. And just 3 bites of candy bars has got me flying already, which means I'm probably going to crash soon. Okay. You wouldn't charge for jaywalking to the car before the crime. Right. There are some crimes like trespass that you don't charge them for trespass and for breaking and entering. Right? It's sort of, you just assume that also occurred. And you usually you'll see this in cases where, let's see, in cases where somebody steals a car and goes on a joyride, there's a point where they stop counting all the lesser crimes on each stop sign that you ran, and there's larger charges that just supersede all of it. And instead of counting how many stop signs and how many times they sped, and how many, they incorporate it in a larger charge. Michelle Traconis, I'm not familiar with that one, Ashley. Is that the one that Brandy's doing? I think Brandy's already sort of spoke for that one. Let's see. Thoughts on the woman hunt in Colorado? On the one that ended in England, Kayla? Because, wow. Yeah. Crazy. That's the mom that was allegedly killed 2 of her children and attempted to kill the 3rd. Right? Are we talking about the same one, and then fled the country, was just arrested like over in Europe or something? Ari, I don't eat sweets. Also, Ari, don't mind me eating my 3rd cinnamon roll. Cinnamon rolls are different. It's when it's just straight sugar like this. I can't. Can you take that away before I eat them all? I put sugar on sugar puffs. I can do some sugar in some situations, but just straight candy bars are, for some reason, I'm shaking. Let's see. Right. Do you? And this isn't. I wish that it was simple. I wish that lesser includeds were plainer than that. But in some cases, they're not. In some states, it's very different as well. It's not. The law is very complex. There's a reason it takes a long time to go to law school and a really hard test to pass to be able to practice the law, and that is because it's very difficult. And when you do that, you generally get to practice the law in a specific area or region, like a state. You pass that state's law, that state's bar. And because there are specific rules and laws that apply just to that state, that's how they operate. You don't just become a lawyer and can, anywhere you travel across the nation, you can practice the law. But every state has little differences one way or another. Okay, no death penalty in Colorado. They got rid of that. Brandy does have the best charts on the Lucy Cam, and she has the best front yard of anyone in YouTube. Let me just tell you, anyone in YouTube, especially LawTube adjacent. Her front yard is fantastic. The ocean, the beach, you cannot beat that. Is it breaking and entering if door wasn't locked? Yes, or trespassing. I believe it's still breaking and entering. The breaking doesn't have to do with breaking the door to get in. It has to do with breaking the plane of the building. I don't know if she was. I know that she's already got a case that's starting on the 8th, I think, that she's looking at. I'll have to... I don't want to step on her toes at all, so we'll make sure we're not covering the same case. Hey, there's very few people I'd want to be cheated on, but Brandy's one of them. So if you can cheat on me with Brandy, that's all right. I don't think I said that right, but trials we're going to cover. There's a couple. Karen, tomorrow we're going to cover the hearing for juror number 1 in the Maya trial. That's going to be at 3:00. It's just an afternoon thing. Where right now, sort of between trials, there's very few, no juries are really impaneled over the holiday break. And so there's not a lot happening in the world of courts. We could jump to, say, for instance, I could take you up to Thurston County right now, where we have, a little bit of stuff going on.
That's his bedroom, yes.
Okay. And so where is that RV? Is that behind your house?
But most of it's just small courts like this.
It's what?
Next to the house.
Next to the house? Okay.
3
And
p.m.
about
tomorrow.
how far from the road would you say that is? Just a ballpark.
What road?
The road that people drive up to get to your house?
I have no idea how close that is to the road. There's a 6-foot gate in between.
Okay. So you have to go through a pathway and a gate to get to your house. Is that right?
Yep.
Okay. And does that gate also, you have to go through that to get to the RV? Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay. And do you usually keep that gate open or closed?
It's open.
Okay.
Layla is has alternate gravity
going on. Did you
going
ever personally witness Adrian exhibiting substance abuse? Personally, you personally, did you ever see Adrian either drunk or on drugs personally?
No.
Okay. And you did realize that the manager at McDonald's said that Rigo was not supposed to be at McDonald's while Layla was working, correct?
McDonald's.
I believe that's hearsay, as there's no statement of that.
It's filed as a declaration, so I can review that, ma'am.
I didn't get that. I didn't get that served to me.
Corinne?
Okay.
Is the witness saying it's hearsay?
Proof that I gave that to you, so it would have been in either Layla Harp's declaration.
I only received
Hannah Crane's declaration, and I have the proof of all of those, and that's also been filed with the court, Your Honor.
So if he wasn't supposed to be there, why was Adrian asked to leave?
So you weren't ever advised by the manager that they weren't supposed to be working the same shifts and weren't supposed to be there at the same time after the assault charges?
No.
You never knew that? Okay.
They never told me that. No.
Okay. And with regards to, you did receive a screenshot it was attached to a supplemental declaration, and that was a screenshot of a message that you had sent Adrian that says Corinne at the top, correct? Where it starts out, you did?
Yeah, I got that.
Okay.
And I have it too.
And that text, it's a pretty long text, but in that text, that was on August 11th, correct?
Yep.
Okay. And so in that text, you wrote, and I quote, "I do believe the things you are saying. I do not think anyone should be hitting another, ever." Rigo.
Yeah, because Layla was hitting Rigo also.
And you also said, "If you have an issue with anything that happens from now until then, please come to me. I got hot just as I'm sure you did," correct?
Mm-hmm.
You went on to say, "I do not want him harassing anyone," correct?
Right. Just as the same as I don't want him to be harassed.
And later in the text, you say, "Again, could you please just message me with any issue?" Correct?
between that pertained to him and Layla and Rigo, correct? Not what
Right.
he was doing randomly. I didn't ask him to go out and parent Rigo.
Okay. And then you also say, I want any woman to do what she needs to do to make herself feel safe, correct?
Yep.
You go on to say, I told Layla this the exact day this happened, correct?
Yeah, that her and my son needed to separate, correct?
And then you said, I can't protect my son when he's wrong. I even told Layla, do not forgive this ever for anyone, correct?
That was after, correct. That was after I only heard Layla's side of the story.
But this,
I didn't get a chance to hear my son's side.
This is
Right,
all one
but
text from you to Adrian Crane. Okay, I just
I
want to make sure that
understand.
you're confirming that that's yours, okay? And then
Hang on just a second. I have a question. What date was that text sent?
August 11th.
correct?
Stipulate.
And it was a Facebook message.
Okay. And so then
We just jumped in on this court. This is Thurston County,
so
up in Washington.
you said in your
It sounds like
that Layla has allegedly repeatedly
Like a-
hit your son Rigo, correct? You
no
said that?
contact order type issue.
She has.
Okay.
I have
And
text
that
messages of her not wanting to it be brought up at court too. To
And you
Rigo.
said that she repeatedly said that she's repeatedly hit him in his private areas, correct?
Yep.
And how many times have you reported this alleged assault to the police?
They are minors. So I just
That's not what I'm asking. Have you ever reported that to the police?
I'm trying to answer your question, but you're interrupting with what
Well,
you
it's a
think I'm
yes-no
going
question.
to say.
No, it's a yes/no question. Yes or no, have you reported these alleged assaults to the police? Yes or no?
No.
Okay, thank you. And then
spicy.
We don't typically call the police.
Again, I don't have a question in front of you right now.
Well, it would be a yes or no question, so that doesn't matter.
Oh my goodness. Whoa. Judges just sitting here watching this.
Your Honor, can I have just 1 second before I'm done with this witness? Your Honor.
Yes.
Thank you.
You just interrupted his Minecraft. Please be cautious of doing that. Maybe it was Minesweeper. I'm not sure what's going on here. This is I think this is an issue of a non-contact order of some sort, and that was violated. I'd have to go back and see it, which I could do, but I hesitate because I want to see what's happening right now.
Thank you for your patience, Ms. Bland. So you mentioned when we were talking about the text message from August 11th that you hadn't had a chance at that point to talk to your son, and that's why you were maybe mistaken, correct? You didn't
Well,
know
about the entirety of their relationship. He wasn't forthcoming of her assaults until August 11th after Adrian and I had talked.
I just noticed that Jasmine Durham, the witness, is an Amazon
No
driver.
further questions.
That he's currently like in his Amazon
You were trying
truck.
to get some words in there. Any context you wish to provide to any of the questions you gave? Any answers you gave to Ms. Sturgis's
I
question?
guess my mic was on.
When
Sorry.
it comes to listing Adrian as drinking, those were assumptions just based on his behavior. When he would contact me, he was erratic, very hostile. It was not a civil conversation. So my thinking is he came back from deployment and started doing something that made him act the way he was acting towards me and my son. When it comes to the McDonald's thing, I was never contacted by McDonald's about Rigo and Layla working different shifts, I was told that they wouldn't be, but I wasn't told that it was like mandatory or because I had asked them not to work the same shift, but they have worked at the same place for some time, and even though she works one shift, he might have worked later, and he doesn't have a car, and we live out of town. So if somebody's coming into town, he gets dropped off at what time he gets dropped off. And when it comes to the guns, he's in the military. Why wouldn't he have access to firearms? He's never said that he would shoot me or my son, but he did say that he would bury my son, and that's concerning with all of that is going on. I have a witness to that phone call. I also have a witness to his attempted intimidation, saying if he was going to sue me for my house because he went and got an attorney to show up to court, and was like, if she shows up something about if I go to court, then my house is his house or something. And that was all recorded when my boyfriend went to serve the papers. The text, I have no idea where that came from. All I know is that it's a North Carolina number, like Adrian and Layla have, that states that there was a death threat.
How did North Carolina get wrapped up in this?
They claim that.
Hang on just a second. The text you're talking about from North Carolina, you got that in June, right?
Yeah, that was the day of the incident.
So then that text that you had sent to Mr. Crane in August, that was a couple of months after that when you sent that text.
So Your Honor, that text was him and I were trying to come to an understanding on the conversation we had while he was calling because it was on Facebook. So he was calling and texting.
Just a second. All this stuff, this incident, McDonald's and all of that, was that before or after that text in August?
The stuff at McDonald's happened the morning of that text. Him and I were talking through the conversation because he was not civil when he first contacted me. And then later, as we text, we were trying to come to an agreement on figuring out their stuff. Us parents being mad about what their relationship that they had going on. And then when I showed Rigo,
I'm going to stop you. I'm going to stop you because I have my answer. I have one additional question for you, which might take a long answer, but then I'll hear from Mr. Durham, and then I'll let Ms. Sturbis speak with Mr. Durham. But we've been going at this for quite some time. I don't have any idea why you're asking for an order against Ms. Hart, and maybe you could explain that.
So I'll explain that right now. She had been going into McDonald's after she came back from Mr. Crane pushed Layla down the stairs. The next day she flew out to her dad's house. She was gone for some time. She told me on the phone that she didn't know if she was going to come back, that she didn't want to move back because she didn't like her stepdad.
Wait, hang on just a second, ma'am. I'm going to stop you. The relationship between her and her stepdad just doesn't matter here. You're asking. Let me finish, ma'am. I'm telling you the backstory. Can you let me finish, please? Right. So you're asking for an order to keep her away from you because she's harassing you. What I want to know is, how is it that she's harassing you? Because I haven't heard anything yet. I understand your position on Mr. Crane, but I don't understand why you're asking how Ms. Harp is harassing you in any way based on anything I've heard so far.
So I was asking for the order. I was unsure how to go about an order between her and my son, since my son is a minor. And I had asked her to stay away from my son when she came back and was no longer working at McDonald's. And she told me that her friends work at McDonald's, so she wasn't willing to stay.
Objection. Stop. Okay. So, you've answered my question, ma'am. So I'm going to hear from Mr. Durham. I can unmute himself.
Mr. Durham, our Amazon delivery driver.
And you raise your right hand, sir? You swear and affirm the information and testimony you provide will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, Your Honor.
Go ahead. What do you have to add to this situation?
So on the day, I'm pretty sure we were at the zoo on August 11th. We had received a phone call from Rico. He was really erratic and upset, saying that Adrian had chased him into the bathroom. I messaged Adrian. I'm pretty sure it was me that messaged Adrian. I told him, I said, if you have an issue with one of our children or with Rigo, you're more than welcome to contact me. And I received a call from Adrian. He's really upset. And I told him to come to me. I'm an adult. He was really upset. He was saying, where are you at? We can meet up now. And I'm like, I'm at the zoo. We're at the zoo with the kids. And he's like, where you at, motherfucker? Excuse my language. I was like, we're at the zoo. And we talked for a few minutes. Well, he was yelling. Hung up the phone. I hung up the phone because we weren't getting anywhere in the argument. He called back. I answered the phone. He was still yelling. I hung up and kept calling and called, I think 2 or 3 more times. And then after a little bit, we calmed down and I got on the phone and I talked to him. We got to a point to where we were calm and, trying to talk through the situation. I did receive later on, I can't remember the day, I did receive a text message that Miss Bland was referring to. It was a picture from Adrian. I'm not sure what Rigo was doing. It was just a picture of Rigo and some kids in the McDonald's parking lot. He was explaining to me that Rigo was smoking weed with a kid in the parking lot, though the picture didn't really show anything. It just showed Rigo and another kid standing.
I'm loving this story.
Okay, keep going.
Yeah, don't stop now. Now I'm invested. I live here now.
As what I heard about on Halloween, I was at work, so I wasn't there. Though I heard that Corrine and the children, because my 2 children was present with hers, she took all of our kids trick-or-treating. Okay. And
so I can't really hear, Mr. Durham, I can't really hear, when they start telling you, and then you're telling me what they told you. I'm anticipating a hearsay objection there, so you can tell me what you know. But go ahead there,
okay.
Mr. Durham.
Understood. I don't remember what morning it was. It was really early in the morning. It was before school. It was right after. This was right after Halloween. It was like the day after Halloween. I got up to go to work, and I was changing my oil. And this is another instance that Ms. Bland was referring to that I did find. Oh, I apologize. I gotta go back a minute to August 11th when I was talking to Adrian on the phone. He did tell me, because I told him, I was like,
the judge has heard nothing.
So arguing with a minor or trying to assault a minor, it just wasn't going to work. And he told me that Rigo was going to be 18.
I'm going to object again based on the hearsay.
I'll overrule that objection. You can cross-examine him on it, but he is a party. And so go ahead, Mr. Durham, you can continue.
Adrian told me that Rigo was going to be 18 soon and he was going to bury him. And that was told directly to me. But there was a day, it was in October, I went to go change my oil. I looked in our garbage can outside of our gate and I found Rigo's wallet and the contents of it scattered inside of the garbage can. Though I didn't see who put it in there. And with referring to the bullet Rigo came into our bedroom about 7 o'clock in the morning. He was upset. Um, and because he actually fallen asleep on the couch, so he didn't sleep in his room that night. And he come in upset because he went to go grab clothes,
The judge is gnawing his
and
way through this pen.
he went to go grab his clothes, and he come back and said that he had found a 9 millimeter
Again, I'm going to object, Your
bullet.
Honor. This is based on hearsay, and we don't know
Don't
if
tell me
Rigo is
what was
planning on
said.
taking the stand.
Rigo's here. He can.
Your Honor, if I may.
Okay, no, not right now. If he's here, if you want to call him as a witness, we can swear him in and hear from him. Good. Continue on, Mr. Durham.
Rigo came into our bedroom and holding a 9 millimeter bullet and showed me a bullet. He said he was laying directly in the center of his bed. I told him to give me the bullet. We looked at it for a little bit. I have the bullet actually in my gun safe. But that's about it as far as the bullet goes.
Ms. Sturbis, do you have any questions you wish to ask Mr. Durham?
Yes, thank you. So, Mr. Durham, you said that August 11th you were at the zoo with your family. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. And you said that my client called you more than once. How many times do you think?
We talked on the phone about twice, but I think all in all it was probably about 3 or 4 times, maybe 5.
Okay, so both failed attempts and completed attempts, you say about 5 times? Okay. And what's the last 4 of your phone number?
Last 4.
The last 4 of my phone number is 0001.
How'd you get that one? Seriously, I get like really hard
So
ones
the
to
calls
remember.
weren't all through my phone number; they were through Messenger also.
If Layla can figure out how to rotate her camera.
Statement that was submitted, Mr. Durham, did you write this statement?
I did.
So you typed it all out?
Yes.
I have no idea what's happened here, but I'm dying to find out. There's like death threats and McDonald's involved.
Thank you, Your Honor. Nothing further for this witness.
Can he go back to resume his deliveries?
Ms. Bland, did you wish Mr. Reyes is there?
Yes.
Did you wish to have him testify? I can swear him in. Okay.
I do.
So he needs to understand, apparently there's a criminal proceeding against him?
Get a lawyer.
Yes or no? Yes.
Get a lawyer. Oh my
so
goodness.
He needs to understand that this is recorded. Anything he'd say can be used against him in the proceeding in juvenile court. And he needs to understand that.
Okay, Rigo, don't talk about anything prior to the day you were chased.
And so,
her advice.
You know, if he
Is she a lawyer?
testifies, this may open up questions about things that he may want to think about asserting his Fifth Amendment privilege. Have you discussed this with him? Is he, Mr. Reyes, could unmute yourself and come on the Zoom call?
We're actually working with a deal on the prosecutor, so.
Okay, so I just understand that. But working on a deal means there hasn't a deal been set.
No deal.
And even if a deal has been set, additional information can upset all that.
Oh, now Layla's right side up.
A fair amount of experience in criminal law. And so there's a video, I think, that was submitted which is, I'll be frank with everyone, it's kind of disturbing. And so, to me, anyway, and I haven't really any testimony about that. That's in evidence. And it's been submitted. It's not in evidence in terms of the hearing, but it's been submitted. I've heard it. And so anyway, I can swear him in. He could testify. I just want to make sure he's doing that with open eyes. And I don't know whether you've discussed all this with him or not. I suspect not, but Mr. Reyes, you were there for a minute, but now you're not.
He's floating.
He's there.
Okay. So, and this is, you know, you have an attorney. Do you have an attorney there in the juvenile case there, Mr. Reyes?
Yes.
Have you talked to your attorney?
I'm talking to him. And these are questions, ma'am, that you cannot answer for him.
Apparently,
you got kind of a scratchy connection here.
Turned in not too long.
He can't answer them for himself either.
I had my buddy Curtis. He turned in a report as a witness to what happened at McDonald's on August 11th.
Is that in this case?
It should be, yes. And one more thing.
I didn't hang on just a second. I didn't see anything from anyone named Curtis. Possible I missed it.
His name is Ayden.
Yeah, Zayden.
He goes by Curtis. His name's Ayden.
Oh, the lawyer has it.
Ayden.
Still nothing.
But
attorney
just a few days ago, Adrian
just
so
stop,
happens to
stop.
call dad.
You haven't been sworn in or anything. So go ahead, raise your right hand. You swear and affirm the information and testimony you provided is be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. So, Ms. Bland, what do you wish to have him testify to?
I wish to have him testify to what Adrian did on August 11th.
Okay.
And the bullet that he found.
Okay. Go ahead, Mr. Reyes. You can speak to those two things.
So, I'll start off with the McDonald's. When that happened in McDonald's, I was very scared, and for my safety, and my friend Curtis was right there, and Zayden. He also, just a few months later, because like he heard everything that had happened, he wrote it down, and I had to have him give it to my mom, and just a few days later, Adrian happens to Zayden's dad did not like that, and he was pissed. Sorry for my language. But ever since then, after the McDonald's incident, it's been bad, and me and my family were very concerned for our safety and mine. And when it happened, when I also found the bullet, we didn't own a 9mm bullet or guns or anything. And I even checked in with my mom, and that's what I was really scared of.
So I guess I want to make sure I'm clear what your testimony is with regard to this bullet. You and Ms. Bland are saying that someone came into your house, left a bullet on your bed without any of you knowing about it?
Yes, sir.
It was in the RV.
Okay. Ms. Sturbis, do you have any questions for Mr.
Rigo,
Reyes?
did you talk about what happened?
I do have a question.
Ms. Bland, you need to be quiet.
Okay, so you said, can you hear me okay, Mr. Reyes?
Yeah.
Okay, I can't see you. I just want to make sure we have a good connection. So, Mr. Reyes, was it you that created this typed statement? Did you type this statement?
Yes.
Okay. And so you reviewed everything and you believe that it's accurate and complete. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay. So you're saying that your attorney gave you Layla Harp's address. Is that right? In this assault case?
Halloween.
Okay, this is why we should
She
not
ensured
have Zoom.
he ensured we had the correct address.
I'm not asking you, Ms. Bland.
She's asking Mr. Reyes a question.
Mr. Reyes, in your statement, it says that your attorney ensured that you had Ms. Harp's correct address, right?
Just to check in with him, yes, because we went on Halloween.
So your attorney gave the address to you. Is that what you're saying?
After that, yes. Just to clarify.
Okay. And that was your attorney who's representing you in the assault case. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay. And when was that your attorney gave you that address?
I don't remember what day, but it was a day that we met up with him and had a meeting with him about our next court date.
Do you remember what month?
In October or November. It was one of those.
So was it after that there were already charges filed against you, correct?
Which happened in November.
She's in trouble.
Again, Ms. Bland, I'm not asking you anything.
Just answer the question if you can, Ms. Reyes. If you don't know, you don't know.
I just believe it was at the end of November.
Okay. And so when you found, were you the one who personally found a bullet on your bed?
Yes, unless my mother.
Okay, and you say that you believe it was Layla or Adrian who took your wallet and placed a bullet on your bed, correct?
Yes.
Okay. And did you personally make a report to the police regarding that?
No.
Okay. I don't have anything further. Thank you.
So I just have one question for Ms. Bland, if you could come back on. There's an incident you spoke of at McDonald's. It was in August, and then we've heard a lot about Halloween. What happened between, if anything, between August and Halloween?
Just text messages back and forth. I attempted to file a restraining order when I had a day off of work.
Second. I mean interactions between the two of you and the
I'm
text
telling
message.
you.
Any of those? Yeah, but no, you're saying you're trying to file. I mean incidents between you and Mr. You trying to file is not testimony of that. So
I'm trying to tell you.
I mean, these text messages, were they threatening or anything like that?
So
I didn't see any.
when I filed a restraining order, I had asked Adrian, because I couldn't find his old address. I had asked him for his new address, and then that's when he said that he was going to go ahead and file the assault charges.
Right. Okay. So, Mr. Durham, I have a question for you.
Where's Mr.
Yes,
Durham?
Your Honor.
Oh, here
It sounds like you had telephone conversations with Mr. Crane in August.
Yeah.
And then it sounded like things were at least, I mean, what was the tenor of your final conversation there?
At the beginning, it was really, really, really hot. Towards the end, it was okay. As far as like when I went to go serve Mr. Crane, he informed me through the ring camera that he wasn't there. It was a pretty chill conversation. We were talking. Well, he was talking. He was telling me about how he was going to have his lawyer fees tagged to Corrine, and he was going to take her place. And then all of a sudden, the police showed up, which completely surprised me. Guns, like with a big rifle out and everything. I didn't understand what that was about. It was very upsetting. But it seemed like, you know, what between me and Mr. Crane, everything was okay up until the police showed up with their rifles up.
All right. Thank you.
There go the police
So,
go
Ms.
escalating everything.
Sturbis, do you wish to call witnesses?
Well, I have a,
Reviewed your
I have a,
declarations.
yes, and I have a follow-up question for Mr. Durham, just based on what he just said, if you wouldn't mind.
I would actually like to move this along, and because we're here all morning, we have 3 cases still pending here. We're coming
That's
up.
fine.
We can live here
11:15.
today.
We're supposed to be done by noon.
Okay, I'll
It's probably
just
not
argue
going to
with
happen.
it.
So,
Okay, I'll just argue
yeah,
it.
and I've got a lot of information from Ms. Bland, Mr. Durham. And so, yeah, if you wish to call witnesses, we'll hear from them.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. So first of all, Your Honor, I filed a supplemental declaration of Adrian Crane, and that was on Friday afternoon. And I had talked with the court to make sure that that would be included and processed on Friday. And I talked with somebody this morning because I didn't see that. And I did provide copy over the email to Ms. Bland. Well, it's now in the court file, but I am guessing, since you've been on the record, you haven't had a chance to review it, because it is a very short declaration, and its only purpose is just to give a foundation for the audio file, the ring file. I would just propose that I have Mr. Crane read it into the record word for word. It just basically describes and explains and authenticates the evidence that the court already has filed.
Okay, basically what it says is, when petitioner was trying to serve papers, Mr. Durham was at the door. And then basically his son answered the door, was there, and not Mr. Durham himself.
That's accurate.
And then there's the screenshot of August 11th. She's been her son smoking in public after she told the computer to get with her. Transcript. And then apparently there's a transcript of the 911 call when he tried to serve papers. The caller was Hannah Crane. She was not at the residence, but her 17-year-old son was there. Okay, so basically he wasn't home when and apparently Mr. Durham, according to the declaration, Mr. Durham was speaking with his Mr. Crane's 17-year-old son and not Mr. Crane himself.
Your Honor, if I may.
No, that's not.
Go ahead. Just go ahead, Mr. Durham.
No one came to the door. No one answered the door. Mr. Crane himself spoke to me on the Ring camera.
Right. No, and what they're saying is that wasn't him. That was his son, basically.
No, yeah, but I didn't even know anybody was there.
Right. Okay, I get it. Okay, Ms. Sturbis, anything further?
Yeah, I was trying to say, Your Honor, that while we were validating and authenticating the Ring camera recording, what we were saying is that Mr. Crane, the respondent, was not at the house. However, through the Ring audio, he was able to speak to Mr. Durham. But because he wasn't there, that's why the police were summoned, because only his 17-year-old was at the house. I just wanted to make sure you understood that. Okay, great.
Judge has a
I just have very few questions, Your Honor. Mr. Crane is present.
He's the blurry man in the corner, apparently.
Go ahead.
Did you already swear him in?
No, that's all right. My mistake. I did not. Mr. Crane, can you raise your right hand, please? Do you swear and affirm the information and testimony you provide will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you.
You can put your hand down.
State your full name.
You can.
Thank you.
You can go ahead.
Please state your full name for the record.
My full name is Adrian Lee Crane.
And I'm assuming that you reviewed petitioner's text message that starts with, "Yo, is this Rico?" Correct?
Yes.
And at the top of that, there was a phone number, a 984-280-0240 number. That's not your phone number, is it?
No.
That's not Layla Harp's phone number, is it?
No.
That's not Hannah Crane's phone number, is it?
No.
Okay. And that was on June 21st.
Sorry,
November
I missed that number.
I'm sorry, June 21st of 2023, about 11:28 a.m., correct?
Sounds about right.
Okay. And how many times have you been in Corinne Bland's presence in person?
We've only seen each other 2 times in real life.
Okay. And was one of them Halloween?
Correct.
Okay.
That doesn't count as real life, though, right?
We heard that from Jay Durham that you called over and over and over on August 11th. Did you look at telephone records regarding any calls that you made to a phone number that Jay gave as ending in, I believe it was 001? 0001. Did you do a record search to see if there were phone calls recorded on August 11th?
Correct. There's very few.
How many were there?
One phone call.
One phone call on August 11th. Okay. And
what about Facebook Messenger?
Were you aware that Layla Harp and Rigo Reyes were not supposed to be scheduled at the same shift once the manager became aware of the assault?
Yes, I was aware that they weren't supposed to be there.
Okay. So they were never scheduled with the same shifts on the same time after that happened, right?
Yes.
Okay. And I'm assuming that you were never in any type of a party circumstance in Ms. Bland's presence, correct?
Yeah, I don't.
You never had any occasion to drink alcohol in her presence?
I was a DD at my own wedding. No, I don't drink.
A DD?
Defensive driver. I was the designated driver.
Okay. So you don't drink?
No.
I
Okay.
thought he said he got a DUI at his wedding. I'm like, that's really bad.
And there's a little confusion on the petition, apparently from Ms. Bland, about whether you do or don't have weapons or whether it's unknown. But have you ever taken a weapon out, made any threats to, we'll start with Ms. Bland.
No.
How about Rigoberto Reyes?
No.
Okay. Well, we might as well throw in Mr. Durham. You've never threatened him. We need respect. All right. And I think the rest is covered, but you obviously created both your declaration and your supplemental declarations, correct?
Yes,
that have been filed in this case, and they're true and accurate and all this stuff.
These are very leading questions.
All right. Thank you.
Ms. Bland, I did hear you ask, what about the Facebook Messenger? So I'll ask that on your behalf, and then I'll ask you if you have any other questions you wish me to present to Mr. Crane. Mr. Crane, on August 11th, were there any Facebook messages sent by you to either Ms. Bland or any one of the parties on the other side there?
Yeah, so we did communicate through Facebook Messenger, Your Honor, and I can actually provide you proof of it, but most of the calls originated from the petitioner to the respondent. There was a couple callbacks. If I remember correctly, there was a couple dropped calls because of where they were at.
No.
They actually initiated the calls to me. If you look at the records from that day, they're not included because we didn't feel the need to, but I can provide those. They initiated the calls to me first that day.
They're not included because we didn't feel the need to.
Ms. Bland, anything else you wish to, any other questions you have for Mr. Crane?
It's
This is going to be good. Guys, wait for it.
No, but that day he called my Facebook Messenger alone twice. And I don't know how many times he's called Jasmine. And we literally told him that we were at a family event and that we weren't going to be able to do anything that at that time.
So now's the time, people.
How many times?
What's that? You were going to say something, Ms. Bland?
Ask him how many times he called.
Yeah, I'm looking. Okay, so I have 3 calls from Adrian on August 11th. I called Adrian and asked him to quit calling. I also stated, I don't give a damn what happened. You step to my kid again, you'll be dealing with me. Your job will be hearing about a no contact order between you and a minor because of your actions. So it was that day.
This was in August.
Yeah.
Okay.
That was August 11th.
I'll hear from you, ma'am. Is final statement or argument you wish to make to me as to why you think you should have orders against both these folks? Then I'll hear from Ms. Sturbis, and then I'll make a decision.
I think I should have order from these to be protected from these people because he made a death threat to my child. He's chased my child through McDonald's. I can't prove that he did anything with the wallet or the bullet, but my son doesn't have any issues with anybody else in the community. So it's just unrealistic that some person just that doesn't have an issue with him or I brought a bullet to our house or took his wallet and put it on top of the trash. I've asked Layla to stay away from McDonald's where she no longer works, and she told me she was unwilling to do so. And I just asked her that she could stay away.
Facts, not
Just this is argument. I'm going to let her continue, Ms. Sturbis.
Okay.
I just asked her to stay away while he's at work, and I asked her to agree to that, and she said that she was unwilling to. And so to prevent any more issues from happening in the future, I would just like a protection order in place. It could go mutual. That's
No,
not
it can't.
Okay.
It needs to be a cross petition, and there isn't.
Okay. Well, I'm asking to be protected from Adrian and Layla so that there are no more future issues with any of the situations that have gone on. This has gone on for far too long, and I just see it escalating and getting worse as time goes on.
Ms. Sturbis?
Thank you, Your Honor. Your Honor, this petition for protection order has been flawed from the very beginning. It was sworn under penalty of perjury, yet it is filled with assumptions, damaging assumptions, which I believe the court should view all of Ms. Bland's credibility with that in mind. She states in one place that he has firearms and that he's threatened with firearms, and then later she has unknown. She's also discussed, again, under penalty of perjury, that substance abuse has been involved, it's alcohol abuse, and then later, of course, that's not accurate as well. But Your Honor, the very base, the most important thing about these petitions, and the reason why I belabored this point is it is important to hold people to a standard. And the reason they're sworn under penalty of perjury is because there have to be a result or a reaction if somebody does lie under penalty of perjury. And I would submit to you, when you look at page 12 where she signs it, the date is November 17th, 2023, Your Honor, when she dated this thing. And then when you read her narrative, she talks about things that haven't even happened yet, Your Honor. It's ludicrous. She says on November 28th, my son found a bullet in the center of his bed. If we are to hold her to this very low standard, but she is trying to get an order to be in the justice system that's going to have far-ranging impacts on Mr. Crane. Another date she puts in the narrative on November 26th, 2023, Adrian's wife, TikTok account. I mean, if you can't even trust that she can come up with consistent and reliable statements in this petition, I don't know how we can expect her to be honest or reliable on the stand. Clearly, swearing under penalty of perjury doesn't mean much to her because of the petition, what I've already pointed out. Additionally, Your Honor, I would just submit that if it was true that she was truly in fear for her son's safety, that there would be police records or indicia. We do have as one of our exhibits.
Tell me to file a no contact order?
The fact that the respondent did a records check from McDonald's and that there were absolutely no police calls regarding Mr. Crane, McDonald's. And if this extremely terrorizing event had happened, one would expect to see that. We know that Ms. Bland, from her own mouth, is very familiar with using law enforcement to try to help deal with the small issues and the big issues in her life. She did admit on the stand that she has used the police to try to see if she could take away her son's cell phone. And I would submit to the court that while that's probably not something one should be wasting 911's time with, it is again very suspect that she would be trying to utilize the police for that, but not if she truly believes her son is in danger. And additionally, Your Honor, some of the things that were presented, and I know that you know when it is assuming facts, not in evidence, but I would just submit to you that you do also have declarations from Ms. Harp. I don't think it has been established that there should be even the tiniest bit of evidence supporting an order against Ms. Harp. And again, when Your Honor considers all the evidence before you, I would submit the petitioner, she can't even get one of the respondents' names correct. I mean, she puts Layla Harper. Again, it's caution and carefulness. And this is something she's asking you to make a very drastic decision that is going to impact my client in traveling and all kinds of things. And that I don't think that what she has submitted rises to that level, Your Honor. I do believe that Ms. Harp has authenticated the recording regarding the assault, and so you have foundation and you have authentication based on the exhibits that we have submitted. She did indicate that why she broke off the relationship. She did indicate that there have been at least 4 occasions where he assaulted her. And again, if, as Ms. Bland has alleged, there were numerous indications when Ms. Harp was allegedly punching Mr. Reyes in his private areas, I just find it, again, this is a woman who is very familiar with calling the police, and not even one single police call regarding that assault. Also, Your Honor, I would just submit that when you take into account Ms. Crane, she indicates and she authenticates regarding the Halloween. And again, in the Halloween incident, you have a ring recording. And I would submit to you, I know it is kind of a long recording. It is a continual recording. You can see in I believe it's the bottom right hand corner, that it hasn't been edited. You can see the continual running of the time, both in the recording. There's one recording time, and then there's actually 2. So I would submit again that shows that Mr. Crane goes outside after they've walked away, that the only statement made by anyone in the Crane household was Ms. Crane saying, please don't come back. And she did that after the kids were even off the porch. So she waits. Corinne, Ms. Bland is kind of hanging back a little bit. And then you hear Ms. Crane's voice very clearly stating, please don't come back. And so none of that supports what was stated in the petition regarding him coming out, yelling, screaming, threatening to beat my ass. And again, even if she tried to change it today a little bit after she reviewed the Ring video, which I'm sure the Ring video probably was quite a surprise to her that we actually have proof that he wasn't doing that. Again, I would just submit that you need to take all of that into account when you assess whether to give her any credibility. And I don't believe she should be given credibility based on the flawed things that she swore to. And Your Honor, based on all of that, I would ask that you deny the order, both on behalf of my client, Layla Harp, and on behalf of my client, Adrian Crane. Thank you.
So
I have one more thing to say.
Go ahead, Ms. Bland.
So the original date on the 17th was when I went and picked up the paperwork, and then I had added into days as it happened, what happened with Hannah and the bullet, and I just didn't go back and revise the date I had signed that order before I submitted it.
So, okay, thank you. So my ruling in this case is as follows. First of all, Ms. Bland is asking for 2 orders. One against Ms. Harp, and then the other against Mr. Crane. And take the easiest first. Ms. Harp, I don't see anything either in the testimony. We've been at this for quite some time, either in testimony or in the declarations or in the petition that could be construed as harassing from Ms. Harp in any way. Bland indicates, well, she requested that she stay away from McDonald's. She can eat where she wants. And the fact that she chooses to eat at McDonald's or anywhere, she can do that. She's not under court order. And so it would not be harassing for her to, I mean, apparently, I think there was some, this didn't come out in testimony today, but there was some indication in the record. She used to work there, or maybe still does, has friends who works there. That's the fact that you ask her not to go to McDonald's and she does anyway. That's not harassing in any way, shape, or form. And so the order against her is
she
denied.
turned her camera off.
With regard to Mr. Crane, there's a little bit more there. It's alleged, and I saw there was a text from June that does indicate some threats, apparently, towards Mr. Reyes. And but that's from an unknown phone number.
What?
Mr. Crane has testified under penalty of perjury. That's no one in his family's phone number. I think Ms. Bland even indicated she just saw that it was a North Carolina number and assumed it was from. There was a lot of assuming going on in this case, actually, and assumed that that it was Mr. Crane who had sent that text, but I can't certainly make any sort of finding based on that. I can't see any evidence that links him to those particular texts. Following that, there was the incident that we heard quite a lot about that was alleged to have occurred on August 11th. There was an incident again that was alleged to have occurred at McDonald's. There were subsequent conversations between Mr. Crane as well as Mr. Durham, who frankly I found Mr. Durham a very credible witness in terms of what he said about how things happened, and things were emotional at first. And I'm going to use his words. By the time they ended their conversation, things were pretty chill. And then following August 11th, as far as I can tell, there was some contact information back and forth between Ms. Bland and Mr. Crane. It did not indicate, I didn't hear from anyone that that was harassing or threatening in any way. And I think I specifically asked Ms. Bland if it was threatening, and she indicated that it wasn't. And she said, "You come after my kid," or things like that, things of that sort. But nothing coming, Mr. Crane is the respondent, nothing coming from him with regard to him being harassing. Then there was the incident on Halloween, and which indicates that Ms. Bland, perhaps unknowingly, actually showed up at their house and trick-or-treats, which isn't uncommon. People go to different neighborhoods to trick-or-treat all the time. I know that happens in Olympia, so I can't imagine that Ms. Bland intentionally sought out. That doesn't make any sense to me either, that she would seek out the Cranes to go trick-or-treating, but nonetheless, there they were. And then what happened after that? And then there's the allegation where Ms. Bland says, well, he threatened to whatever. That's, I will be frank with everyone, that's not supported in the video that I saw was referenced. Ms. Bland indicates, well, that video must have been doctored somehow, or was doctored somehow, but I can't make any finding in that regard either. And then there was the issue with regard to the wallet and the bullet, and you know, and I can't just assume, well, people having problems, so it must be them. I can't do that. I can't find any sort of connection that links one to the other. And so Mr. Reyes may have some problems with other people. Maybe he did that himself. Maybe Mr. Crane did it. But based on any of the evidence presented, I can't make a finding one way or the other. And as a petitioner, Ms. Bland, you carry the burden of proof. In a civil case, it's different than a criminal case. But nonetheless, you have to make a showing by preponderance of the evidence that the harassment has existed. And harassment is, maybe I should have read this at the beginning of the calendar, sometimes I do, but I'm going to do it now, is a knowing and willful course of conduct directed at a specific person that seriously alarms, annoys, harasses, or is detrimental to such person that serves no legitimate or lawful purpose. The course of conduct must be such that would cause a reasonable person to suffer substantial emotional distress and must actually cause substantial emotional stress to the petitioner. And then course of conduct is defined is a pattern of conduct composed of a series of acts over a period of time, however short, evidencing continuity of purpose. And then it goes on a little bit more about what that means in terms of communication, contact, or conduct. So not every conflict, ma'am, Ms. Bland, I'm going to speak to you directly, not every conflict is harassment. And assuming for the moment that, and I'm not making this finding, but even that incident at McDonald's occurred exactly as you're alleging, that's a single incident. And a single incident doesn't arise to the level of harassment, and it could be construed as a completely inappropriate response to an emotional thing that he heard about his stepdaughter. And which would not be great and not good, but at least understandable. And then from that point going forward to Halloween. Okay, ma'am, okay, I didn't interrupt you when you were speaking, and so I would really ask you not to interrupt me when I'm speaking also. And so from the August 11th to Halloween, I don't find anything that was harassing from either part. And then Halloween, like I say, there's just insufficient evidence for me to make any sort of finding harassment. Having said all that, Mr. Crane, I'll turn to you. Clearly, you know how Ms. Bland and Mr. Reyes and I assume Mr. Durham feel about contact from you. They don't want any. And so going from this point forward, if there is any contact from you towards them, I'd probably take a little different view on whether or not that contact is harassing or not. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so I'm good for this particular hearing. I'm going to deny the petition I'm going to deny the petition for orders with regard to both parties. And this case will be concluded.
Okay, if this happens to my son, there will be consequences and repercussions. Thank you.
And you're all free to leave the Zoom call.
Wait, did you just end with a threat? Layla's like, hey. She's like, wow. Oh my goodness.
Next, we're going to take up Ms. Molinelli. You still with us?
I am, Your Honor.
She's like,
and
I've
Mr.
been watching this whole
Boyery,
thing.
he's on the Zoom call there?
Yes, sir.
Could you activate your camera?
Yes, sir. Give me 1 moment. I'm going to park right about now, and then I'll turn my camera on.
We only want to commit one crime at a time. Here we go. Okay, so I think this is more restraining order type stuff. Ooh, Samsung.
Like
liking that.
Give me just a moment,
liking that
please.
goatee. It's got the little scruff action going on.
So, Ms.
This is Thurston County,
Molinelli.
state of
make sure I
Washington.
say your name correctly. Mr. Boyery, how do I say your last name?
It's Boyer. It's French. It's kind of weird.
Boyer?
Yes, sir.
How do I spell that?
B-O-Y.
It is B-O-Y-R-I-E.
Okay. Ms. Molinelli, how is it you need an order against Mr. Boyer?
I knew Mr. Boyer for maybe a month. We met online, and there came a point where I realized he did not give me his real name. He introduced me as Theo, or introduced himself to me as Theo. And then given the colorful narrative for not giving me his legal name and some key simple things about his life, I felt very uncomfortable and wanted to remove myself from getting to know him further. I was very clear on December 19th that I wanted no further contact from him and to please not contact me anymore, including text messaging. He called me immediately afterwards. Then I reiterated verbally to please not contact me anymore. He messaged me 4 more times that evening. I did not respond. The morning of December 20th, he called me. I did not respond. I ignored the call, and then I blocked his number. And then on December 21st, he called me from a blocked number telling me that he had a viewing at my apartment complex, given he needed to find a new residence to live at and that he would be looking at other places as well. However, given the fact I did not know this person for an extended period of time and what they did show me up until that point of, a series of colorful lies and giving me a fake name, etc., I felt very scared. And I let him know that on the phone. and for him to not come to my residence looking for an apartment, and that I would be filing a protection order because I was terrified in that moment. And so when I was speaking to my complex manager, when him and I got off the phone, per them, he did end up canceling the viewing at my complex. And I personally have never felt the need to not stay in my own home. I felt very scared and uncomfortable that someone who was making me scared and uncomfortable and kept contacting me knew where I lived. So that's why I wanted to get a protection order. In the meantime,
there's no threats.
It was advice I was given, and I simplified it in the sense of if I feel unsafe, then to move forward with something, and I felt unsafe.
I don't think that rises to the level.
Did you ever meet face to face?
Yes, Gabriel and I hung out about 5 times. It was after hanging out 3 times, I felt comfortable enough to invite him over to my residence. And it was that night on December 15th when he was over at my residence, and I feel I only found out about his real name, his real legal name, because my dog was kind of gnawing at his pocket, and he showed me his work badge, and his work badge had the name Gabriel on it. And he gave me some story about why he has a different name for work. It caught my attention. However, it was really late, and I can't sit there and assume what someone may or may not do, like the depths of their job. And we hung out again 2 days later on the 17th, and the story about his alleged work name, which is his legal name, got more colorful. And then I decided to look at one of his social media channels the following Monday because things were just getting really weird for me. And there was some videos that I saw of just like his life that did not pan out or match with the things that he was telling me about himself. And I mentioned these incidences to him, and then I feel the lies just got really elaborate, trying to cover up a lie, and it was just a lot trying to get to know somebody new. So I stated that, and I tried to politely remove myself from him, and wished him well, and then he kept contacting me when I asked him not to. And then it was him wanting to view an apartment at my complex that really alarmed me, given the behavior of the prior 3 or 4 days.
You invited him home after 3 days. Your dog found out he had a different name.
Mr. Boyer, can you raise your right hand, please?
Okay. Yes, sir.
You swear and affirm the information and testimony you provide will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
You can put your hand down. So I'll hear from you.
Yes, sir. So I would say pretty much what she said was accurate. The reason why I was trying to contact her after she had told me she didn't feel comfortable talking anymore is, I guess, in my mind, I wanted to kind of give her some closure and explain some of the things that I wasn't necessarily truthful about. And then what had happened with the actual apartment complex is I was suddenly going to need a 2-bedroom as opposed to a 1-bedroom. And I had been moving previously because my homeowners are going to be moving back into my current house. So now that I needed a 2-bedroom, I was kind of sprawling for time, stressed out a little bit on the budget as well. And her apartment complex was...
You were looking for... I apologize for interrupting, but I wasn't sure what that viewing meant. I didn't know whether you were a real estate agent showing a place, or whether you were going that, so you were thinking about renting a place in her complex.
Yes, sir. Yeah. So it was going to be a tour. And I called her. I did if you do *67 on the phone, it basically just makes the phone number private. So I did that, and I just wanted to kind of confirm with her to make sure she was somewhat comfortable with that. And I can tell pretty quickly she was, and that's why I ended up just canceling the tour of that apartment complex. And then I did end up finding another place, so it kind of settled itself out. But
there's a handwritten note that's attributed to you from December 18. Did you see that?
Yes, I believe I know what it's about.
Right. Do you see how that might be kind of disturbing to someone, sending to someone who you don't know well?
Yeah, so the handwritten note was from my ex. She had actually attempted suicide. And this is why I was kind of sprawling for time, because I didn't know if she would technically be allowed custody of her kids, just because, again, I don't know if she would be deemed like mentally unfit. So I assumed that they would be coming to me for an extended period of time, which is why I was trying to get the 2-bedroom as opposed to the 1.
I know. I'm talking about the note. Yeah, and you sent that to Ms. Molinelli?
Yes, sir. At the time, we had kind of talked about, my previous relationship, and I really just didn't have anybody else to kind of vent to or talk about that with. So I know she kind of told me not to contact her, but I was kind of spiraling at that point. So,
well, I'm sorry that you're spiraling, and I hope you do better. But and hopefully this will help you at least draw some lines. But I'm going to enter an order, and you're not to contact Ms. Molinelli. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
And she's just not a part of your life, not through texting, not through emailing, not phone calling, sending messages through third parties, any other of social media. Everybody says Facebook, but I know there's tons of social media sites that I have. Your people of your age knows a heck of a lot more about than I do, but you're just not to contact her at all. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
It'll exist for 1 year, and that'll conclude the hearing. You can get a copy of this off the Thurston County District Court website. Either of you have any questions?
No, I do, Your Honor.
Go ahead, ma'am.
With the no contact for this order that you're placing, does that also include what was on the emergency no contact order of him not being able to come within 1,000 feet of my residence or work?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Yep. And that's it for today. You're both free to leave the Zoom call. Good luck to you both.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Gabriel handled it pretty well, or should we say Theo? I'm surprised whatever was in that note probably was
Ms.
more
Gordon,
of a deciding
come on the
factor
Zoom call.
than anything else.
Yes.
Ms. Gray, come on up.
I think this is our last one for the day. Oh, I have to move because she's actually here. I was in her seat. I'm sorry, Ms. Gray. I'll move down here.
Ms. Gordon, are you? Yeah, doesn't look like you're driving. Looking through your window.
We're sitting in a parking.
I actually kind of remember this case. So I think I was the one who entered the temporary order.
Yes.
I remember I had some questions then, Ms. Gray. Those remain. Could you raise your right hand, please? No, Ms. Gordon, I'm talking to.
Yes.
And so, and I forgot where I got those views. Ms. Gordon is the person I spoke to before on the temporary order. Do you swear and affirm the information testimony you provide will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
How is it you need an order against Ms. Gray? I have to say, I think I told you before, I'll tell you now when both are here, it's kind of an unusual situation. Go ahead, ma'am.
Here we go.
So let's just do the short version. An altercation happened, and it was with me and another girl. Heather did get involved. So the first thing is the cops were called and EMTs were called. Miss Gray,
please. I didn't understand that.
Are we talking about a throuple here?
EMTs did get called.
I think we have a throuple.
Okay.
Miss Gray used her EMT to let the fire chief think that she wasn't involved and called off the ambulances to come check me out after Miss Gray had kicked me in the head. What? So then I did get them called back on and I did get checked out. And I did end up with a concussion from being kicked in the head by Mrs. Gray. And the next day, like, she's outside my house. She's honking her horn and getting, like, because one of the other girls lives close, like, directly across the street. But it's like all of a sudden she's always like the next day kept just being in our face, making it clear that she's there.
Oh, there's an order coming for
outside my house. My daughter, my 17-year-old daughter, looked out the door and said, well, it looks like she has her phone up videoing me. And I'm like, if you're right directly outside my front door and you're honking your horn, my kids are going to look. And you don't, like, that's not a way to not cause problems. It doesn't need to be at my house, Your Honor.
I want the long version. I'm sorry. I realize I have no right to ask for
The
that.
harassment is the horn honking?
Is her out there? They were walking around the day before, videoing me and following me around. Her and another
constitutionally
lady.
protected rights, as we know from Thurston County.
Like, a bunch of pictures that were submitted.
Video, Your Honor, I was originally sitting out there all by myself.
Leslie, welcome to the gallery. What a
Who
day to
submitted
join.
these pictures that came in today? When those been?
I did. And I submitted
I
the
didn't
video
see-
of the
I'm just
altercation
Yeah.
and an
Okay, so hang
explanation.
on, just stop, please.
I want to see a
I
video
haven't
of the
seen
head
any of
kick.
those.
Yes.
You know, I do review all files, but there's been a ton of stuff here.
It was like
It's
a
been-
full-on high kick. That is impressive.
Did you get a chance to review all that, Ms. Gordon?
No, I did not get a chance to review what she submitted. Nothing.
Yeah,
I've been on
I
this
think
Zoom.
you should.
There's some good stuff here, says the judge.
Okay.
You got to check
And then-
out some of these pictures.
And one of these, okay.
So she got kicked in the head. Ms. Gordon calls 911, says send the ambulance. I got kicked in the head.
So,
Ms. Gray says, I'm an EMT. Cancel the ambulance. She's fine. Ms. Gordon calls back, says,
hang
no,
on
I'm
just
not
a
fine.
second.
Send him anyway.
You guys live next to each other?
No,
I've
she
never
doesn't.
met her before.
Okay, hang on just a second.
Never met her.
Could you raise your right hand, please? You swear and affirm the information and testimony you provide will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Okay, put your hand down. This kicking in the head, what's that all about?
I never kicked her in the head. First of all, I've never met her before. Met her at a fundraising event.
Right.
If you read through the story, you can see the chain of events. It took me probably approximately 4 hours to figure out why she was so hostile towards me, because she's friends with my assistant fire chief's, well, she's a sister-in-law of my assistant fire chief, which is also the mayor, and his wife has issues with me. I've never met Tabitha.
Or Your
I'm
Honor.
So I don't know why this turned into an interruption fest this morning, but
I know.
let her finish, please. I mean, I went through all that in that previous hearing that went on so long. So please don't interrupt the other party. I'll make her do the same for you, Ms. Gordon. So when she's speaking, don't interrupt. When you're speaking, I won't let her interrupt. Go ahead.
Yeah.
We were doing a fundraising event for my assistant fire chief, who was just recently diagnosed terminal with cancer. Like I said, never met Tabitha, don't know her. I didn't know her by her face. I had heard stories about her because I know that she's been an issue with my girlfriend who lives 25 feet from her house. Their doors face each other, which I included a picture of the map that shows their address so you can see exactly how far it is. The day that she's talking about where I pulled up, Janiza has 12 puppies on top of 4 dogs. I've never been in her house. I've actually only stopped at her house 3 times in the last 6 months. That day that I was picking her up, I tapped on the horn to let her know I was out front because she is in the process of doing a restraining order against Tabitha and her sister-in-law, Miriam Gordon. That was it. I've never followed her around town recording her. I've never even seen her before December 17th. So for her to say there's any harassment, I think I would actually have had
How
to
does she
know
know
her
that they were doing a
or met
restraining
her
order?
or had interaction with her online, called her, stalked her, something.
Okay. And did you submit a picture of someone who had like a scratch?
Me.
And that was you? And who put those scratches on you?
It was a big cluster mess of her advancing, which you can see in the video. I was 10 feet away from her. in front of the bar. I was trying to have a conversation with her.
I haven't
Yeah,
seen
I know. And it's so silly. The whole thing is so silly when you listen to it. She was super intoxicated. I was super intoxicated. She got up.
Follow the recipe for success.
Right.
Go ahead.
She got up.
Yes.
She aggressed towards me when Janiza had came out. She said some words. She called me an effing idiot. She said some words to Janiza to stay
And
the
this
F
is all
away.
on the video?
Yes, it's all on
Okay.
video.
And is this the big cluster where she
Yes.
may have got it in the head?
I have no idea what she's talking about with that. I know that she had pulled my hair out, my extensions. She had pulled Janiza down to the ground on the concrete. They both were
And
down.
This is on the video.
Not that part, because obviously we would have been holding the phone
Please,
at the same
Judge, make
time.
this public record.
So that part is where it cut out. But you can see her coming
All right.
and passing by the door that goes to the tavern, which she
Hang
claims
on
was
just
she
a
was being
second.
blocked.
I'm gonna stop.
Judge,
Yeah.
like, I need to watch this
And
video.
so,
Hang on.
you haven't seen any of the, do you know how to access the court file, ma'am? Ms. Gordon, you can see what's been filed? Because I need to see this and I haven't, and we're
We
so
all
late in
do.
the morning here
We
that I'm
all
not
do,
gonna take
Judge.
the time to do it. But we'll
Yeah,
reset it for a week,
I
2 or
don't
3.
have, Your Honor, honestly, like I have a daughter that just had a surgery and has an infection on her neck. So during this whole thing, I've had to take her to the doctors.
All right.
So
clearly
no,
you
I
haven't.
don't
So like
have
I
a
say,
way
what
to
I would
like
do
look
is-
at it right now and be on Zoom with you.
No, I can't. I can't either. And like I say, we're supposed to stop at noon, but it's already past noon. But we still have.
I'm
more case
happy to have a continuance, Your Honor, so I can actually look at these things. I just
Yeah, I
wanted to
can't.
be clear that this whole thing, the whole event was for my brother-in-law.
Okay, so you can stop, ma'am. And so, are you available in 3 weeks?
Yes.
Okay, put this on the calendar, guys.
Available in 3
Yes.
weeks, and you can zoom into these. You don't need to be here in person.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I just felt like it was,
Okay.
it's important to me. The whole thing is stupid.
These are important things.
Yeah, so in the meantime, I'm an EMT. I do have something to say. When she said that I dismissed the aid cars, I was not responding to a call. I explained to my assistant chief immediately, within 10 seconds, that I was involved with the call. I was intoxicated. There is no way, no right, no, like if you look up how you're supposed to be able to disregard an aid incoming,
You don't need to.
I
explain
did
that
not
to me,
fall
ma'am.
underneath any of that criteria. So if that's why she's trying to file an or harassment order, it still doesn't reach any of the criterias for any of this.
I
There's
just
no
don't want her
harass-
outside my house, Your Honor. That is it.
So
Away
we're
from
going
my
to be
kids.
back here, ma'am. You just need to stop, please.
So in the meantime, so her order's within 1,000 feet from her house. My fire department is within 1,000 feet from her house.
Look at the judge. Okay, so that's the problem.
She's on administrative leave until the prosecuting attorney takes on or throws off that. So it doesn't matter right now. 3 weeks isn't going to hurt anything.
Actually, the case was dropped within 24 hours. I have notes in there from Officer Anderson.
Are you available next week?
I am.
Okay. Available next week, ma'am?
It would depend on the day.
Monday?
And my administrative leave is pending upon me just coming in to sign some paperwork with my assistant chief.
So we're moving up to 8th, guys.
It was all part of just protocol.
I can't do Monday, Your Honor.
Oh man.
Okay, then we're going to adjust the order to reduce the distance restriction.
It's 1,058 feet to the fire department.
Well, the new order is going to be 100 feet from your house.
Okay. Perfect.
Do it that way.
I am happy with that.
I think we just need to do a new temp order, yeah. Or can I put that on here?
So they're doing a temporary emergency restraining order until this can be addressed in court. They can't move forward because Ms. Gordon has not seen the pictures that
distance restriction
Ms. Gray took of all this. Oh my goodness.
And I have a quick question.
Yes.
So I have some statements from other people that are members of the fire department that would like to submit as well.
If you could submit them as declarations.
The same, okay.
Yeah. So the distance restriction is reduced to 100 feet.
Okay.
Okay.
Perfect.
And you might want to keep a copy of this so you can show whoever you need to show that to.
Who's going to be the secretary that reminds us that this is coming up? It's going to be 3 weeks because the 8th is not available.
January 8th, which I know is another big day, but it's just the way the world
It is January 8th?
Yeah. Or no, actually no, because she's not available. So we'll switch that out. Since I'm reducing the distance restriction, we're moving that out. Yeah, why not?
Okay.
What's the date?
You did. No, why not? It'll be January 22nd.
January 22nd. Okay, there we go.
Perfect.
January 22nd. Put that on the calendar. Thurston County, January 22nd. We've got to be back here because this is going to only get better over time. Two highly intoxicated women at a fundraiser.
And you can wait for that for a minute. We'll call you up.
Okay.
And Ms.
Thank you, Samantha.
Pierce, come on up. So, Ms. Gordon, you're free to go. The only thing that's going to happen with your case now is that
Put in the spreadsheet.
okay, you'll get a copy of this order. We'll see you back here on the 22nd.
Thank you.
Let's see, Julie Roof, you're next. You're next up. Come on down. Oh, it looks like we've got somebody in court over there, so I've got to be... Judge, can I sit up here next to you? Is that all right? I promise to be very quiet and only say slightly snarky things during the breaks. All right. Nice puffy jacket there. Versus a very unimpressed
Pierce,
redhead.
P-E-I-R-C-E. Yeah, I was misspelled on
And
the
so,
order.
Ms. Roof, could you raise your right hand, please?
Thank you.
You swear and affirm the information and testimony you provide will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
You can put your hand down.
Is she wearing an anger management shirt? What does that say?
And I guess my first question, now that I look at it, I didn't look at it, what's going on in Pierce County right now?
That's where I live, and that's where she was living until right now.
Okay, so was there you were listed as a respondent on that.
Golden Shepherd or Golden Retriever, sorry. Golden Shepherd. I was making up dog breeds.
Oh, the petition was denied, probably because of jurisdiction. I see. So did you try to do this in Pierce County first, ma'am?
No. You might be seeing the denied order from my ex.
Okay. All right. That might be,
It was on Friday the 22nd, I believe. Yeah.
Okay.
I think you can get a Golden Shepherd. It just takes...
Ms. Ruth, how is it you need an anti-harassment order against Ms. Pierce?
Because I feel unsafe with her and just.
You're going to need more than that.
I don't have to.
I'm going to tell you something here. We're getting a little bit late here, but that's all right. This is kind of highly unusual.
We've had
this before. You look to me like you just turned 18. Is that right?
Yes.
When did you turn 18?
September 19th.
Right. And apparently, I'm just kind of reading between the lines here, which I'm hearing from Ms. Pierce. You kind of grew up with Ms. Pierce?
No.
Sorry? No?
No.
What's this guardianship thing she told me about? What's that all about?
My mom became homeless, so I moved in with Miss Pierce. And then she took me from there for a year before I turned 18.
And now you're 18 and then you've left?
Yes.
And then is it basically you just don't want to go back?
Yes.
Okay. You know, that might be your right. You don't need, I mean, this is the wrong place to go about doing that. You see what I mean? Harassment, if you've been paying attention, and I would understand if you chose not to, but you know, harassment is, you know, people won't leave the other person alone. Like, and you saw that the one we just had here recently, there was like a brief relationship. All of a sudden, the one person just won't won't stop bugging the other person. You say, leave me alone. Then you need to get a court order and say, look, just stay away from me.
Yeah, we watched that.
And in the other case, it went on for quite some time. You know, the one person was alleging like this person has had contact with them and we need an order to keep these people away from me. And for the reasons that I stated, I denied that order. But this looks to me like not like that. You know, and in terms of, and I heard you say, well, she's got this, you know, in terms of property division, you know, I can't make her give, this isn't a case where I can make her, if she has your things or, you know, just redistribute property or anything like that. That doesn't happen here. This is just in order to keep someone away from someone else. And I don't know what's going on with your mother. She didn't get served here. And I don't know what the relationship, and I don't know what your end game is. I don't know what Ms. Pierce's end game is. But I'm not sure I can get there from here with regard to either one of you. And, you know, you come in age when you're entitled to move out and do what you want. And you might be at that age right now. And Ms. Pierce might not like it. She might not agree with it. But, you know, and I don't, even if, you know, a guardian, apparently there was some agreement worked out between your mother and Ms. Pierce. Is that your sister? If I remember right? And, but that was never memorialized in court. There was no parenting plan that says, or anything like that. So, I mean, she's not bound to do that. I don't, you know, and so, you know, I'm not sure what you want, but I'm not really sure you're in the right place. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay. So what do you think about all this? And someone was off camera, you know, speaking in your ear, and you had some others who were watching, who I understand, who have gone now, but we've been going on all morning. So, I mean, I guess what's your response to all that?
I just want my iPad back so I can get enrolled into a different school.
Well, let me hear from, and like I say, this isn't the place to do that, but let me hear from, I mean, what do you think about all this?
Yeah, I think actually, I don't know. I could not figure out how to submit anything online.
Right.
So I do have these copies for you if you would like them.
What, for the guardianship?
They are also in there, but I did go through the whole order, and there's been 3 cases now. This one that was filed, they did file a CPS report also, and as well supplied
Who filed the CPS report?
Julie. And they also supplied a 4-page letter to my ex, which he took to court and got denied that restraining order. So I do have all of that here. I went through all of those and created a table of contents of evidence for you,
right?
Which I think is silly. You don't even need to look at all of it.
I mean,
but,
I just don't think.
Basically,
this case is a lot of things with a lot of issues. I'm not sure harassment's it.
Correct.
That's what I'm saying.
And I do want to mention one thing, and maybe kind of a question. The person that you saw on camera earlier speaking for her is also actually writing for her. And so she is signing her name, but committing perjury on these.
Well, I guess.
So
the judges.
So, I mean, just out of curiosity.
Where's the iPad?
You know, who is that person to you, Ms. Ruth? I don't know whether she's still there or not.
She is my boyfriend's mother.
I'm still here too.
Okay. So I guess this is a long way of saying, you know, your petition for harassment is going to be denied. Just because this isn't a harassment case. It strikes me, ma'am, and maybe I'm wrong. I'm meeting you for the first time today. I'm meeting Ms. Pierce for the first time today. But it just kind of strikes me you've had some difficult things, you know, happen to you. And it's been a difficult period of your life growing up. And I feel bad about that. And but you know, like I said before, you're at the age where you can move out if you want, and I don't know what Ms. Pierce's response is to getting the iPad back. I don't even know who the iPads is, but and I don't know whether you can communicate with her or not. But I mean, I can't make a decision on the, again, this just isn't a harassment case. It's just not. And I can't, in the context of this course, I can't sign an order that says, give the iPad back. So I'm going to deny your petition against Ms. Pierce, which kind of leaves you where you were, and you can contact her and see about getting the iPad back if she's willing to give it. If it belongs to the school district, is it a school district iPad?
Yes.
It can be returned there, and then, but that's, it's not her iPad either. It's, just go back to the school district, and then, like I say, I can't enter an order here. I just can't.
Okay.
Do you understand why, even if you disagree with it?
Yes.
Okay, and then what do you want to do about this case with Ms. Zumwalt? When was the last time you've spoken with her?
Oh, Christmas Eve.
Oh, so you still have contact with her?
Oh wait, sorry, it wasn't Christmas Eve. I was a week before Christmas Eve. It was on a Friday night. I don't remember what the date. The 15th.
All right.
What does their shirt say?
So, what do you want to do with that case?
Drop it.
All right. So this case will be denied. And again, that kind of leaves you where you were when you walked in here. Again, I don't know what your iPad is.
So actually, I did speak with the school already about the iPad. It is an iPad that is from the school, and since I'm labeled as guardian on her school paperwork, I would be financially responsible, which I did let Megan know that, which is the other person in the speaking. And I did let her know that in text messages when she asked me about that. And I let her know that I would be returning it to the school. I already did email her counselor and let her know. Okay. And she did say that I could bring it back to the school. But the temporary order that we are in right now says that I can't go to the school.
Okay. Well, that's going to go away as of right now.
Yeah.
Also, so you're not in school at the moment now. So did you hear that, Ms. Ruth?
Yes.
So she's going to turn the iPad into the school, and then you can go from there.
Okay. Thank you.
You were going to say something else?
I was going to mention the other part that she texted about missing items was that she had a debit card and some cash that wasn't returned to her. Julie did become violent and break our table, which we asked for her to pay for. It was $39.
Look, I'm not even going to let you go there.
Okay.
Because, like I say, I'm not in an order here, and I couldn't make any findings on that anyway. I am just going to say one thing, Ms. Ruth, to you, Ms. Pierce, and whoever's off camera there. And I don't know whether this is possible or not, but I think you would all be better off if you could come to some sort of common ground and work together. And maybe
what we have here is failure to communicate.
Overly optimistic. I don't know. Technically you're an adult, but when I'm looking at you, you're
new doc just drops.
You've got a lot of things that need to get sorted out. And hopefully the other adults in your life, Ms. Pierce here, whoever that is off camera,
Ms. Sarnick,
come some sort of, again, just I will tell you, Ms. Ruth, the person who's getting hurt by all this is, well, I won't. Other than, and maybe I'm being overly optimistic here, but I think you folks all need to work together if that's possible.
Okay.
But the iPad's going back, and then that's where we're at.
Okay.
That's it for today. Thank you for appearing here today. And then the other case against Ms. Zumwalt, that'll go away today also.
Okay.
Regarding the letter that was purportedly sent to the jurors that was incorporated into defendant's motion for reconsideration of scope of juror interview, the screenshot of that letter was voluntarily sent to me by an alternate juror. That's where the defense got that from. That's from Mr. Shapiro's affidavit I'm reading through right now. Let's see, David Hughes. I think Julie's actually logged out. I think the judge logged out. I think I'm the only one here. Is anyone else here? I think it's just me. There we go. We just got affidavits posted in the oops, hang on. Thank you. Just got affidavits posted. It's Mr. Brooks, welcome back. Good to have you here. In the that was funny. If it was 106, if it was from Juror 106, that would be hilarious. The Juror 106 would have been on their side. Oh, man. Jenny says, hello, welcome. So why does the defense care? It was after the trial. This affidavit, and I can go over those with you. Hang on, I'm just looking through the last one here. Mr. Altenburn, pretty sure he didn't do anything either. He says he didn't. That's good. Last one was Corrells. Who was it? Yeah, Patricia Crowells. Okay, basically the all of them filed statements. Okay, let me see if I can show you this. Hold tight. This is the latest document from the Maya trial. Maybe it helps if I go down where I belong so you can read this. There you go. All right, so this comes from the defense team, and it's an affidavit from all these people, from Howard Hunter, Ethan Shapiro, David Hughes, Chris Altenburn, and Patricia Crowells. And so you have each statement on its own, and they're almost all identical, okay? But here we go. It says in the affidavit here, it starts with Mr. Hunter. It says, my name is Howard Hunter. I'm over the age of 18, have personal knowledge of the matter set forth herein. I'm a member of the Florida Bar in good standing since 1979. I represent Johns Hopkins and All Children's Hospital in the above style cause and have served in that capacity as lead trial counsel since the onset of the case. At no point have I asked directly or indirectly that any person initiate communication or attempt to initiate communication with any juror or alternate juror in the referenced matter, nor have attempted to initiate any such communication myself in any form. I have not asked directly or indirectly that any person take any action that I could not take myself, including any action that would violate Florida Rule of Professional Conduct 4-3.5D4. And then I think that's his signature. And he got a notary public. Yay. Nice stamp. And then you get the same thing for Mr. Shapiro, although his is a little different. He says, I'm Ethan Shapiro, over the age of 18, been a member in Florida Bar, good standing since 2003. I've been on this case the whole time. I've never directly or indirectly asked any person to communicate with or attempt to communicate with any juror or alternate juror in the reference manner, nor have attempted to initiate any such communication myself in any form. Regarding the letter, this is the addition, regarding the letter that was purportedly sent to the jurors that was incorporated into the defendant's motion for reconsideration, that's the screenshot of the one that has the quote from Nick Whitney and the YouTube channels and everything. It says, regarding that letter, that letter was voluntarily sent to me by an alternate juror. I think we have questions. We have questions. How did the alternate juror get your information? No, just kidding. I've not asked directly or indirectly to any person to take any action I could not take myself, including any action that would violate Florida Rule of Professional Conduct. Get the same thing from Mr. David Hughes, although you don't have the part about the screenshot of the letter. His is the same as Mr. Hunter's. And lastly, you also have not lastly, but you've got Mr. Altenburn, who says the same thing. He has it's worded just a tiny bit differently, but it's virtually the same thing. Says that he's been represented for a different amount of time. And lastly, we have Ms. Corrells, who says the same thing. Good standing, represented the trial, haven't done anything directly or indirectly. So, further affiant saith not. There we go. They all end it with further affiant saith not. In bold. That's all. So those are the latest filings that just came in. How can we just believe their word? I think we clearly, with Mr. Shapiro's case, he's admitted to having contact with an alternate juror. So we need to find out what phone he used, if his wife was also Facebooking that information at the same time. Anyway, just kidding. I'm giving him a hard time. The alternate was for the defense, apparently. That's interesting. It is, Judy. It's very interesting. Yes, and if it was number 106, who they would have had instead of juror number 1, had the exchange been, something that happened, it could be incredibly interesting. Incredibly. This is a huge CYA. This is done because they want to accentuate and highlight the fact that they think that the plaintiff cannot say the same thing. So we'll see. We did Deborah Salisbury's sworn affidavit this morning. That was fantastic. It was really good. So now the temper tantrum really makes sense. So this is the only thing we've learned, Melissa. Not necessarily that they were pro-defense, but that they felt that the defense would be interested to see this letter that come. We can assume that means they were pro-defense. Did need to be unanimous, yes. The letter was left on Mr. Shapiro's veranda. Plaintiff has not responded yet, but they typically file late in the day. So we'll keep watching the filings and see if more things post. How can the alternate know what they would have decided because they didn't deliberate? They may have just been leaning that direction and then didn't get to deliberate, but were invited with all the rest of them because they did share contact information. I think the court actually facilitated the jurors were able to share contact information and meet up afterwards. And in all of that, that's where they got this copy. Really confused about the whole screenshot thing. Reddit. That's all I can say. Okay, we've got a call coming in. Hang on just one second. Oh, it's notorious. Hang on one second. Jules, how are you doing today?
Good, thanks. How are you? Happy New Year to you and yours.
Thank you. Same to you.
Listen, I'm calling because a filing was made. Are you aware?
Is this the one with all the attorneys saying
yes,
it wasn't us?
Yeah. Okay.
Sounds like they got an alternate juror to send a copy of the letter. That's where they got their copy of the letter that was sent to Mr. Shapiro. He makes that clear in his affidavit. But
I'm sorry, I'm not buying it. But now here's my opinion. Okay, on the alternate juror. This is a guess. It's speculation on my part, folks, so don't go getting yourselves all in a tizzy yet but what I'm about to say. However, when the jurors were picked, when it was time to deliberate and the alternates had left, okay, I received an email from, I don't know if it was an addict or if it was one from Law and Lumber or whoever it was. All right, but they sent me an email asking me, and they sent me a picture of a woman and asking me if she was on the jury, because when they were released, this particular person went on the Law and Crime chat and said that she was an alternate on there and that she didn't agree, with plaintiffs. She was pro-defense, and people were calling her out on LNC saying, "You're fake, that's not you, da-da-da." And this person sent me a picture of the woman, and she indeed was sitting on the jury. She was my juror number 1, the person that I referred to as juror number 1.
Wow.
So I'm guessing if I had to make a guess, and this is pure speculation, my opinion. This is not a fact, folks, you know, for all those that might be trolling in your chat right now. I don't know for sure, but my guess would be it would be her, because she was that quick to get on Law and Crime and start posting. And like I said, the email, in fact, I still have the email saved, and I might just forward it to you, Scott, so you could, because it was sent to me immediately, questioning me, was this person, do you recognize her, was she on the jury? And yes, she indeed was. She was my juror number one.
Man, interesting. So that might be where they got the information, and that's cool. That's cool. She can give them stuff.
Yeah.
But she was not. She was not number 106, right?
No, she was not. Okay. She was not. She was an alternate, because when they were released, I was, you know, quite surprised. You know, when I saw the ones that left, I was like, oh, dang. And here's the thing. If it is her, if that's the one who did it, I have to be perfectly honest with you. I took her as being pro-plaintiff because she was the first one that entered every morning. And she was in the first row, first seat, closest to the plaintiff's side. And
they'd smile.
Always smiling.
I remember you saying that she would smile at Maya. She'd smile at the Kowalskis.
Yes, always. And she would, you know, nod her head. And when something, you know, of interest in regards to the family came up, she would look up, lock eyes with them, and smile. So I honestly took her for being pro-plaintiff. And when, you know, that day when they started to deliberate and I found out she was an alternate, I'm like, oh, well, that stinks. And then, like I said, I got that email, and I was like, yeah, I need to call Scott and tell him.
I have not talked to any of the jurors, whether they're alternates or main, you know, deliberating jurors.
Me either.
But have there been other jurors that have you know, gone out and talked to the media at all?
That was no. And that was the only one that went on to Law and Crime. And like I said, people didn't believe that she was who she said she was. And apparently her you know, her what do you call it? Picture. She had the real picture.
Her profile picture was actually
herself.
her.
Yeah, the profile picture was actually her. And there would be no way that anybody could falsify that unless they were in the courtroom and took a picture of her, and you couldn't do that. So, I mean, it definitely, it was her, without a doubt. And I'm looking, I know I did not delete it. I know I still have it. I'm trying to go back in my emails when they went. Because it was either the following day, or I believe it was the following day that, what do you call it? She
talked on chat.
That she did that.
Just to clarify, this is after the verdict, right?
No. This was before.
This is before the verdict?
Yes, it was before the verdict. She went on to Law and Crime. I'm going to find it. What day did the trial end? No, the verdict came in on the 9th. So here, it must be this one. I think it's this one.
Did the judge dismiss them permanently, or did he tell them not to talk to anyone until?
The judge dismissed them.
Because if they're dismissed, they can do anything they want at that point, right? They can
That's
talk whatever
correct.
they want.
They could, they can do whatever they want. Here's the link I sent. Nope, that's not it.
That's cool. I'll talk to you about that off the air, if the email thing. So interesting information.
I will forward it to you. But if I had to guess, that's who I'm guessing.
Well, it's got to be frustrating to the J Hatch team to know that there were, jurors on there that were on their side and that didn't get to deliberate, because clearly we know that the ones that did deliberate, the 6 that made the decision, were not on their side, and so they basically they rolled the dice, or the dice were rolled in this case, and they lost on all counts.
Yeah, and I get it. And like I said, though, I did not see her postings because I don't watch LNC. I don't participate in that. But however, it was sent to me only because someone wanted to verify, was this indeed her?
Yeah,
and
you were able to do that.
Yeah, was this person on the jury? And I was like, yep, she sure was. She was my number one. That's who I had listed as my number one.
Yeah.
And
I would say that it sounds like this juror, your juror number one, this lady, if that is her that gave this, she's also okay to do that. Everything she's done is okay. Just like, as far as I can tell, everything that has happened that the defense has complained about is also okay. They might not like it, but I haven't seen that anything's wrong here. So
I haven't seen it either. But let me go through this. As soon as I find it, I'll forward it to you.
All right.
And then this way you'll know who I'm talking about.
Sounds good. Thank you, Jules. Appreciate it. Thanks for the heads up.
No problem. All righty.
We'll see you.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Oh, I should have asked her if she was going to be in court tomorrow for the hearing. I'm just looking because sometimes the court will start posting documents like one after another as they're processed, and they can show up pretty rapidly. But I'm not seeing anything after this notice of filing for the trial. These affidavits from the defense team. So let's see. All right. Yeah, stay classy, everyone. Let's not attack. Even if we don't like a channel or a community or something, let's go above attacking them here. That's all right. Here's what I'd like. I might have to talk to somebody who's going to court tomorrow. Tell you what, if you're planning on attending the court in Florida tomorrow and might be willing to help me out just a little bit, if you can give me a text on the burner phone, that would be great. I don't want anyone to have to go way out of their way to do anything, but if you're already planning on going, I'm wondering if you could get a favor from somebody. If you leave now and pick up a Kia, you can get there by 3 p.m. tomorrow. Greeners, don't tempt me. Do you know how tempting that sounds to drive that 13 hours again? No, not going to happen. We're going to use somebody else. Let's see. What happened? Did the letter go out after the verdict? It did. The letter went out post-verdict. We know the letter went out post-verdict because when you look in the letter, it mentions Dr. Joe Corcoran's YouTube channel. And guess what? If you do a little... Here's some little YouTubing sleuthing you can do on your own. Ready? We're going to go to a website called Social Blade. That's Social BLADE, and click there. We're going to do a search on a YouTube channel for Dr. Joe Corcoran. And there I found his channel, CMO Dr. Joe. And guess what? It tells me right there that the YouTube account was created on November 10th, 2023. That means the account did not exist prior to November 10th, 2023, which means that if this note went out referencing his YouTube channel, it did not exist. They would not know he has a YouTube channel because he didn't have one before then. The verdict was on the 9th. He created his YouTube account on the 10th. He probably didn't do anything with it immediately either. Actually, Judge Carroll told them not to talk until after the verdict in case they were needed for deliberation if a juror left. That's what I was thinking about. I know they were dismissed, but my question is were they told not to talk? And that It didn't become a problem because they weren't needed, but they really should follow the judge's orders. That's what I seem to remember. I'll have to look at it to see if that's correct, though. Don't quote me on this. Trying to figure out if I could bribe with my son to drive me down, maybe cinnamon rolls. It's a long drive, right? I cannot go down to Florida. Mrs. R.A. is flying out tomorrow to go see family. Let's see. Oh, I didn't show you my homework. I told you I was doing homework, but then I didn't show you what homework I was doing. There we go. Give me a second here. Okay, let's go to box 3. There you go. So here's Social Blade, right? There's the website. You can search for the web account, the YouTube account right here. You enter the username for YouTube. It'll show you the number of views they have, number of subscribers, number of uploads. There's our good friend, Dr. Joe. And there, right there, this isn't, you can't change that. It's the date your channel was created, right? It can't go before then. Thank you, Greeners. You researched mine. I initially got this channel back in 2019 and did almost nothing with it for a long time. But anyway, fun websites you can do research on, right? So anyway, all that proves is that letter was definitely sent after the verdict, which makes it all okay. Unless it's only 3.5 hours for you, well, that's just a hop, skip, and a jump. Book Hermit, my memories are mixed up with many trials as well. I can't, either I have early onset dementia or Alzheimer's. I don't know what it is, but I have seen so many trials that at the end of the day, if I were to go out and bump into somebody as we're standing in line in Panda Express waiting to order our honey walnut shrimp, which is absolutely delicious, and they said, hey, what'd you cover today on your channel? I would look at them with that blank look that a goldfish gets about 30 seconds after you fed it. Like, did I eat recently? That's the look I would have. It's just, it's gone. It's out of my head. If I'm not actively still talking about it, having it on my screen, it's gone. Perhaps message Lois. Possibly, I could reach out to her, unless you're in chat, Lois. Back door is opening and shutting. I think Mrs. R.A. is home. I think she just got back from the grocery store. Need someone to find the media interview Whitney did post-verdict where he said those exact words in the note. There was a media interview? That would be interesting. I think if there was, Mr. Whitney's going to have it tomorrow. Okay. Goldfish are smart. They look Zarus. Adam, I'm telling you, there's nothing there. It's just blank. You missed it by a week, Ed. I'm sorry. Sarasota is a beautiful place. I love that city. I was just surprised he dismissed the alternates and didn't retain them until after the verdict. Rudy, we've seen that in other cases, but in this particular case, they had very little juror turnover. And I imagine he thought that it was good. It was the Megan Fox interview. If he did the interview on Megan Fox and said that, that would be phenomenal to be able to find that word for where they got that. Judge told the alternates not to talk to the jurors until the verdict, so just the jurors, but they could talk to the media. Melissa says, I'm not buying this note, sorry. I think the note's authentic. I think it's real. I have reason to believe. I personally have reason to believe the note's real. Cam Hope, thank you. I'll reach out to a couple of you. I got a couple texts. Let's see. I got a bunch of texts. Remember, he didn't let them get their yearbook signed before dismissing the alternates. The hearing does start at 3 p.m. It's in courtroom, let's see, I'll check my notes. I think it was 2B or 2A. It's on the second floor. 2A. Megan Fox interviewed Anderson, not Whitney. So that would have been, I think Rob was the first to interview Whitney, right? Hey, Mrs. R.A. Do you want to come use one of these mics? You have to get headphones from off the piano so you can hear. You'd have to get the headphones off the piano, and then I can pull you in. Women fold paper in halves. Men do another quarter fold. Not buying it's real. Just on that note. He had his channel. So basically, they're saying that this note was given out when the jurors met well after the verdict. And they met with both jurors and alternates, and I think they all went out to eat together and said, hey, wasn't that a crazy experience? Now that we can all look at each other and talk about what just happened. So that was it. I can't show you the Megan Fox interview, but I can highly recommend you watch it on Megan Fox's channel. Is that all right? Dr. Joe and Rob interviewed Whitney, so it could be on Dr. Joe or Rob's. I did not interview Whitney or Anderson. I interviewed the Anderson sisters, which was phenomenal, and I would do that again in a heartbeat. They're amazing people. Could Dr. Joe have made it known he was going to make a channel? He didn't. He honestly, Dr. Joe will tell you, and he said this a couple times he had no idea until this court case that this world existed on YouTube, that there were true crime fanatics who were following this, that were interested in cases and are watching from across the country or around the world on YouTube. He had no idea. Ivy, Mrs. R.A. helped me find those candy bars, so she's in on this one. I think it was Dr. Joe's interview. I'll have to look at that. Okay. Remember Rob telling juror number 1 during a live stream, be careful who he talks to. This is just good advice after a big case like that. That's great advice. I think I said something similar, even though I wasn't directly communicating with them. Future, so is that quote taken from a video? So what did Whitney say? We're talking about the quote that's in the letter. Was it taken from a video? Both those Whitney statements were from that same interview, says Kim. If somebody can link that or send it to my burner phone, that would be great. Watching live trials online started way before it reached YouTube. True. I'm thinking like OJ, right? Rejected juror saying also, whoever authored the note may have known that Dr. Corcoran was planning to start a YouTube channel. That they could have. I imagine he may have expressed interest once he found out YouTube existed to do that. So somebody might have assumed or heard that he was thinking about it. But still telling somebody that here's their channel, you can look it up on YouTube. This is how you find them. If it's not there, it's not there. It seems strange to include that in the note prior to it existing. Rob was just giving that juror really good advice. I remember that. I did not know any of Dr. Joe's intentions until after the trial. We were able to interview him. That's when I found out. Tessa, are we inferring that Whitney wrote or encouraged the note? That was what the question was. Basically, we're trying to source that wording. It may have come from an interview that he did somewhere else, where it was just lifted from an interview. Adam Content Warden says, didn't Dr. Joe wink and say, follow me on YouTube during his testimony? Yes, I remember that, Adam. It was right after he talked about the breakfast company and right before he talked about his friend's boat company, right? Like to give him a hard time about that. That was one of my favorite parts of his testimony. It was just like, hey, my wife has an awesome restaurant. You should check it out. It's really good. It is. I've been there. The boat, I have not yet checked out the boat company, but I know where to go if I need a boat. There were 2 winking witnesses. Oh, so many. All right. That being said, Mrs. RA is home. It's almost 4:00. We're a little bit early, but it looks like most of the courts are over for right now. Let me just do a quick check to see what other, if there's anything else that we need to cover today. Just one second. Hang on. Quick checks here. Okay, I'm not showing anyone else live talking about this. As far as the court case in Sarasota, I've got some people to respond to. Once again, if you have not texted me, if you're already or you're 100% positive you're going to be in court tomorrow, and I'm talking about the Maya trial, that's courtroom 2B, 3 p.m. in Sarasota Courthouse tomorrow. Give me a text on the burner phone. Let me know. That would be great. I might ask for a little favor. Okay, no new documents have been filed yet either, so I think we're going to wrap up here. Let's see. Do we have... See if there's anyone that we needed to redirect to, and I'm not seeing... Not seeing anything covering this. Okay. All right. Is Dr. Joe going? He's probably going to be there, I think. I don't know. Any car chases? There have been a few, but I have to gather all the video on that. Can you summarize what Jules said? I didn't fully understand it. People, for real. Basically, she told me that after the verdict, that on another channel's chat, someone was talking about saying that I was an alternate juror. I did not agree with what the jury decided, and that person was called out saying, "Hey, you're not real." And she was sent a picture. Jules was sent a picture of this alternate juror, a photo that you could only have gotten if you. We might go here in just a second. Anyway, she was sent a picture that said basically, "This is me. I'm the alternate juror," and Jules was able to authenticate it. It was the alternate juror, meaning that the person on the chat in the other chat room saying I was an alternate juror and I was not selected. That she was who she said she was. That's it. And Jules saying and Jules by extension saying it's possible that juror is the one that may have given this note to the defense team. Okay. Give me a second here. Let's see if we can get this to work. This is our feed. What was the time on this one? Amber, hang on. Where did my chat go? Okay, I'm not seeing it. It's not working for me, Amber. Sorry. Let's see. Oh, might be here for. What time was the chat again, Amber? The timestamp. Let's see. Scrolling back. 5:46:24. Let me see if I can find it. 5:46. Okay, we're gonna jump up to watching an old court case really quickly. This is. Okay, I've got all sorts of issues here. Hang on one second. I have me on top of me. Just one second. We've got to get that one turned off, and this one started again.
Lunch for the 6 jurors because
this is the old trial that
the county does not like me spending money for people who are not actually deliberating. So that's like the cherry on top of being
These
told
are the instructions
to
the alternate jurors.
You don't get lunch, and I apologize for that. I know many of you have jobs and that your employers have also put up with you not being there. I do have notes for those who may need them, and I'm going to hand this entire package to Deputy Coley, who will pass out those juror notes for your employers. I also have the sheriff's office has been so kind and actually ordered lunch, but you're going to have to take the lunch for the alternates. We can't have them back there, so at least now you have the cherry on top. You get lunch.
The sheriff's office just bought the lunch.
That's very nice of y'all.
That was super nice of the sheriff's office.
As I was saying, I also have some certificates.
What's their instructions?
That's like the cherry on. As with yesterday, when I separate the alternates, I can't have the alternates interact anymore with the main jury. To the extent that the alternates have the main jurors' telephone numbers, you cannot use them to call the jurors until this is all over.
Okay.
Please don't have, I know you might want to talk to them, but you have to wait until this is all over. We do not want to have a mistrial at this point and have to start this entire process over. So in a couple of moments, I'm going to excuse the alternates. What we're going to do is the alternates are going to...
Okay, so all he did was say you can't talk to the jurors. That was the whole whole of everything. Let's go back to our channel here. I lost my chat and everything. Sorry, give me a second. That was the whole of everything. Whoa, there's me again. It's weird how that works. It's like a little time loop. Pop out chat. There we go. And now we can turn on messages again. And this live stream is the best, says Sample User. He says, keep going. No. Is there more? There's more? Okay. I knew he said more. If somebody finds more what he said, just let us know in chat, and we'll go with that. Anyway, so yes, there's more. But if there's more, did he tell them they could not talk to the media? That's our issue. Did he tell them they could not talk to the media? Because if they did, then we have at least one juror who has talked to the media. That would be a sign of juror misconduct. If the juror talked to the media before the verdict was back and the judge told them not to. Now I'm going to have to copyright strike myself. Red pen. It's okay. I'll just claim it. So I'll get the monetization. Diana says, it was so good being back with this amazing channel. It's really a daily part of my life, and that week of not being here to chat was horrible. Thank you, Recovery Addict mods in chat. Thank you, Diana. It's fun to be with all of you. This is great. All right. We covered the release of the names. Oh my goodness. Laura Lilini, I've been through some of those documents, and I have a confession. Okay, it's okay. Let's get personal here. Ready? I have a confession. I don't know half these people. I read through all these names, and unless it says president in front of it, or or they're owner of a bank or something, I have no clue. I can watch a movie. I can watch a big blockbuster movie and not know the names of any of the actors. I am the least connected when it comes to entertainment wise in the world. I don't have any knowledge on that front. So I wouldn't even know what I was looking for, honestly. So no, I'm not on the list. But that's where it is. So I think I'm not the best person to cover that. I realize also that's a tough topic. It's a tough topic, and it's dealing with a lot of people who do not want their names out publicly, and many of them have the legal resources to fight the release, no matter where it is, whether it's initially from the person who releases it or from anyone who might re-release it. I don't have the legal wherewithal to put myself in that target zone, so I can't do that one. 549 of that same video. Amber, can you just type it to us verbatim, or can you call and tell? Can you call and tell us? Because I cleared it off. Watch not relevant to find out. Yes, this is true. This is true. If you watch the podcast, I know very little about anything that is relevant. the PR teams are working round the clock. Yes. Anyway, so I probably won't be covering those unless it goes somewhere. Okay, that's all I can say. I think that the threat of legal action is big enough that you're even going to see many major news organizations that won't cover it, just because it's a tough one. You're walking on thin ice, and you're basically taking someone else's word for it and painting people with a very broad brush. And I will tell you, I think that although there may be people on that list who deserve to be dragged through whatever that list gets dragged through as far as the mud goes, there are probably also people on that list who have no connection in any way with any bad things that may have gone on. Amber, on that note, tell me what I missed on my own video.
If my voice goes in and out, I'm sorry, because I'm under the weather again.
Oh man.
Judge Carroll ended up giving the same jury non-admonition and said that, once you walk out of the doors, you were free to speak to whomever you want, disclose or not disclose your experience to the juror. He even gave them permission to go to the local watering hole, but not to drink and drive. So there was no admonition to not speak to media once they walked outside of the courtroom doors.
Okay, so that's good. That just confirms that more of the information that has come to light is also appropriate. And as far as I can tell, nothing has been wrong with any of it that either side has brought up. So,
right, and I was trying to find. There was a point that one of the jurors was excused. The one that was excused for medical issues or something. I'm trying to find that date as well to see if I can find what that admonition was, because who knows, it could have been that same person. I have no clue.
That was early on, right? That was several days before the verdict.
Right, before the verdict.
And
yes.
I think
it was late in the case, but before the verdict.
Jules's number one was still there up until the parting of the alternates and the deliberators. So it couldn't have been that one.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah. It's hard to keep track of everything at this point.
Yes, it is. That's
without
why I
looking
have
at my own timeline.
Amber, thank you very much. I appreciate you digging that in for all of us so we could get that information. But thank you so much.
No problem.
All right, get feeling better. All right, that's an order.
Thanks.
All right, bye. Let's see. All right, I'm gonna check text. I've got a few people to respond to that are going to be in court tomorrow, and hopefully we'll be able to get something worked out here. But let's see. Okay. All right, that's it. I think we're good. All right, I'm caught up. We don't have to do confession anymore, so we can go back to the widescreen. How does it? Wow! Look at that. My little box disappears all by itself. Do you know what that means? That means I tied the key to the transition. I didn't realize I had done that. I mean, I know how to do it, but I didn't realize I had done that. So that way you don't get two of me. All right. Thank you, Missy Blue. Thanks for the kind words. Appreciate you being here. Would not be the same without you. Happy New Year to everybody. If you're here, Happy New Year. If you're not, I'm sorry. We miss you. That's all I can say. Tomorrow, the court case, the big court case that we're covering tomorrow is the Maya hearing. That is the juror number 1 interview. That's going to be happening at 3 p.m. Eastern time. It's happening down in Sarasota, courtroom 2A in the Sarasota, in that same. In the same courtroom that we had, the same building that we had the other trial in, or the other hearing, the hearing that brought us to this point. So I was down there for. So it's going to be down there. We are in the media pool. We're trying to get all that connected right now. So we need somebody who's down there. Otherwise, I need to make a quick hiring. So that's all. So 3 o'clock tomorrow we'll have that. We're going to be live in the morning anyway. There's probably going to be more documents Okay, I'm just guessing there's probably going to be more documents that drop either tonight or first thing in the morning related to this trial, because the plaintiff has a few things to say. Usually the plaintiff responds to almost everything the defense puts out there. So there's all of that. So tonight when you go home, please hug the people you love. Smile at someone, make their day just a little bit better. And please stay safe till we go live again tomorrow morning. Let's say 9 o'clock, if that's all right. 9 o'clock. Oh, man. Get better, everybody. Be nice to each other. We'll see you guys. Bye. And now I can't get it to work right. There we go. Oh, dang it.
Scratch all that. Oh, that was terrible. I apologize. Scratch all that. Oh, that was terrible. I apologize.